Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rounds broadcast. It's time for the first main event of Split 2. It's that same Rounds team. It's a very different setting for our good friend Renshiro. Let's see if that will pay dividends on the big stage. It's myself, Sir Pegasus, joined by Rhino.
Hello everybody, hope you're all doing very well. Excited to see what Rounds can bring to the table today. We heard a couple of little things that weren't exactly going right for the team on Sunday. They've had a week to rectify them. We'll see if they can do it.
Absolutely, but it did start off well in that double elimination bracket. It was a pretty confident swing over into the Swiss stage. Didn't play a team we exactly expected in that upper final, but it was a simple start versus Neutral. That one was an easy sweep. The first game was a bit tougher for Not Bad Double, but as time went on, Rounds were able to flex their muscles, show what they're truly made of, and Renshiro had an absolute pop-off performance, and that made it a rather easy qualification into the Swiss stage.
Yeah, it certainly was, and even Not Bad Double got themselves into Swiss as well, so it wasn't an easy end of that day. But going into the Swiss, things, well, they didn't all go our way, let's put it that way. a good win against Doing It for GB to kick the day off, but then that 3-1 loss to Strive doesn't really tell you the whole story. Strive played out of their minds last Sunday, and you can actually tell that by the fact that they lost 3-2 to 5 Fears in that upper bracket, and then they got themselves through 3-0 in the 2-1s. Meanwhile, Rounds had a little bit more of a challenge. They had to go 3-2 against Fusion, which was not the best series from either of those two teams, to be honest, but Rounds just about squeaking through. They then had a very good performance, a very solid performance against Bro Crocos in the 2-1s, only losing 3-1 to beat Ibele in the 2-2s. Rounds and round 5. What more can you ask for? And we are through in a little bit of a lower seeding, but we are at least through into today.
But then that takes us to the GSL stage. It's similar to a double elimination, kind of crossed with a Swiss stage. You win 2 before you lose 2 to get yourselves into that top 8. That's been the target for Rounds the entire season. We've come close on a few occasions, but we haven't quite been able to break the lines. Deathcloud and Fusion are at the top of the bracket already. Fusion have announced that they are going to be DQing their way straight out. So Deathcloud guaranteed in that upper finals to play either formerly Strive Esports, now Rising Esports, or White Rabbit Gaming. And on our side of the bracket, it is 5 Fears, of course, as our potential opponents in our upper finals. As per usual, they're going to be playing T2G Esports. And as for us here for our first round, it's going to be Marina Region as our first opponent. And I would say that it is a tough bracket to predict, but I certainly had my go at it. In fact, all 3 casters of RDR Prod certainly did. And I'm wondering if we can get over my first one here. I must say, went for a bit of a boring prediction today. A lot of one-sided matchups. I've given it to Deathcloud in round 1. I was actually completely correct, especially with the DQ they've just thrown out. I've given it to Strive Esports. They performed extremely well in their Rising Esports, formerly Strive Esports. They performed really well at the Swiss stage, so I believe in them. I've got them going in that upper finals versus Deathcloud. I've given it a game 5, but Deathcloud, they've just been here for longer, so I'm just going to give them the benefit of a doubt. Guaranteed top 8 for them. 5 Fears, giving them that initial sweep. I've given us a game 4 victory. I've then given us a game 4 loss in that upper finals to send us lowers, and I think it's very important that we have this lower bracket flipped here, because you do not want to have to play the likes of Rising Esports in that lower final. That's going to be a job for, in my opinion, Marine Region after beating T2G in game 5, and they're just going to get swept out the competition. But as for our half of the lowers, I've got White Rabbit taking down Fusion, which I guess is a guarantee now if it is White Rabbit that are sent down to that spot. However, that would be with a DQ victory. However, in our lower finals, it's never going to be easy for Rounds, so I've given it a game 5.
Yeah, I think we've actually got relatively similar brackets, although not exactly the same. You can see there as I've also got that first prediction correct. Deathcloud 3, Fusion 0. I do not get the bottom bracket correct, though, as White Rabbit will beat Fusion 3-0 anyway. I've actually got Rising Esports versus White Rabbit being a little bit closer. That 3-2 scoreline, I think, to give Rising Esports the way through. Still got the 5-game series that you have in that upper final. Looking down, I think 5 Fears are going to be able to get through the day relatively simply. 3-0, 3-0. Don't think anybody is going to be too concerned about that one. And I do think Rounds take down Marine Region in a 3-1 stance. Moving down into the lower bracket, I think White Rabbit easily going to deal with Fusion. I don't think that's too big a problem. And I actually think Marine Region have enough to take down T2G Esports as well. As we then look in the lower finals where Rounds find themselves against White Rabbit. That will be a really tough game if we get there. But I think it's going to go all the distance to game 5. And then Rising Esports, also previously Strive Esports, I think that is a 3-1. It could really be a 3-0 the way that Strive are playing. So that's who I have to go through. Yeah, I think it's pretty similar. But there is one more man on the Rounds team stream, and we need to go and find out what he thinks is going to happen. And Pegasus, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. First round's all the same, though. Deathcloud beating Fusion, Rising Esports beating White Rabbit, 5 Fears take down 2TG, and Rounds beating Marine Region. However, the upper finals is very different. He's very impressed with that Rising Esports performance. He's actually got them sweeping Deathcloud, which is
that is crazy.
a crazy turn of events there. He's also got rounds taking 1 game of 5 fears, which I think many of us actually did. Then in that lower semi-finals, he's got White Rabbit going to 5 against Fusion. Luckily, his bracket isn't completely ruined by the DQs. And then, just like all of us, he's got a game 5 versus White Rabbit in that lower final. But on the other side of the bracket, 3-2 win for Marine Region against T2G, and then a 3-1 for Death Cloud. So at least he's got Death Cloud qualifying, but my goodness, he doesn't back them whatsoever against Rising Esports, albeit that's probably the best a team has ever performed against rounds, and in my humble opinion. I know we've played 5 fears, but I've never seen a team just simply peak on us like they did in that unfortunate round of Swiss. But Swiss is no more. It's time for the GSL. It's time for the first upper semi-final. It's going to be Marine Region versus rounds. We have got formerly of Crystal Cologne, formerly of LFO. We've also got Dalton to round off that roster. Pingu, Eliakim, and Dalton versus Renshiro, Onizuma, and Marzi. And I know you've got your allegiances with some of those on Marine Region. What are you thinking, Rhino?
Yeah, hey, if you're referring to my history with Eli, listen, the game is the game, all right? We had our fun times, but now I'm all about rounds. Look, you're looking back at the way Marine Region were playing last Sunday. They actually had a relatively simple way to get through into this position. The hardest game they had was against Astronic Esports, and they lost that 3-1. So, Marine Region, all in all, I actually think there's a team there that can be beaten, and rounds are going to have to try and prove it. So, I think we're just going to get into the game, Pegasus.
We are absolutely no time wasted, and there's been a huge update in the RLCS scene overall. Admins are going to be here all day and all game. Potentials for pauses if there are any disconnects or any other issues on the pitch. But we do have kickoff. Game 1 is going to be underway for the Swiss stage. Let's get this party started.
Here we go as the ball into the middle. No, cleared away by Renshiro. Marzi collects on the right-hand side. Has a pass middle on Izuma. Getting up well, but just going be up by. And already the team play starting to come out from the Reunion boys. Renshiro out of the corner. Looking for help from Marzi, but he can't clear it far away enough. Eli pops it high. Dalton collects, looking for the pass back to Eli. But it's well met by a rounds car as they now get the bump away as well.
Back over. Tries to bring it over 1. Marzi wants that 50 against a like. Not going to happen. Big boom forward here, though, from Pingu. On Izuma wants to get us started early. And this is one of those matches that I saw it on paper and thought, this should be the easiest game of the day. But by no means does that mean it's going to be easy.
No, absolutely not. As Onizuma takes it through, he's looking to beat Eli in the back lines, but not quite going to be able to do so. Eli's someone who's always been on the fringes of that top 8 here in SSA. Very, very good player in his own right. Can he get past rounds today? Team pinch maybe attempted, maybe a lack of communication. Who really knows? As it will be a chance for Eli. He takes the shot. Marzi no boost. It's 1-0.
Yeah, first real chance as well to come from this team. Eliakim sends that one towards the left post. Marzi stepped up towards the centre of the goal, and that makes it tough. It's going to be a simple way to open up the play here for Marine Region, but still, we could see the early chances for rounds. Just going to hope that defense starts to lock itself up.
Yeah, it's a tough initial goal to concede. I mean, Marzi, I don't know whether he did communicate that he didn't have any boost, but either way, there should be that knowledge within the team. Renshiro is going to take a shot, double commit on the goal line. Chance, really, for rounds to try and capitalize, but no one's in the area. Now Marzi takes the long-range shot, but that's going to be easily saved, and the longer that Marine Region are able to collect these boost pads and get it back up to 100, the more challenging this is going to be for rounds, but the clearance should be there for the moment and is into that left-hand corner. Pingu, the Spaniard, playing on about 130 ping today from Spain. He's going to be someone who we will look to try and capitalize on if we get the opportunity to break through the lines and avoid the 50s.
It's going to be a lot of focus on Renshiro when it comes to that ping department as well. These 50s going to be a whole lot more confident. Let's go touches as well in the defensive positions. There should be more confidence for him to step up a little bit earlier on a lot of these challenges compared to what we've seen beforehand. However, That's half of game one already gone. We can see the lead is still there for Marine Region, and it's been very much a midfield battle overall. Not been many chances at net for either side as this game has progressed, so still just waiting for that advantage to be found each way.
And it's due to the control that both teams are able to get right now. There's a lot of kind of boom ball being played. There's a lot of clearances. Marzi, that's not a great clearance at all. Backboard reset chance, but a good save away. And now there's a chance here for Dalton, but he goes by. Marzi now trying to make it difficult to escape. Does that really well. Renshiro now with a chance to shoot into the bottom right corner. Played over the top. Where's the third man? Too far off. Spacing lacking for rounds at the start of this one.
Oh, comes down off the ceiling. Pingu's local. But that one should be sent wide. Going to be a decision here between Onizuma and Renshiro. Onizuma will be the one to take here. Renshiro dives back.
Oh.
And a goal comes in eventually here for Dalton. That's going to be the second, and it's a bit of a shock one to come out. Clearance comes out. And it is a really tough angle to find in all fairness, but Marine have not wasted the opportunity, and this is going to be the overlay we're going to be using just for game one. Game two, the one that we are very used to, the RDR prod overlay will return, thank goodness.
Certainly will. Now off that left-hand wall, there's a chance right in front of goal. It's a nice shot.
Woo!
Renshiro gets us back involved. It's been Marine Region who have just taken their chances when they've been offered them so far in this game, but the bump on the backlines onto Pingu has meant that it's really difficult for him to recover on the goal line. And rounds now back within 1 minute 20 to go. They love to have a late surge in games. Hopefully that continues into this one, and that demo is definitely going to start things off.
And you like to see a goal with still some time left on the clock. This is going to be a little bit less desperate than what it could have been should they have waited those 30 seconds longer. Either way, just happy to see that it's not going to be a clean sheet for our opponents outside the first game. Renshiro and the rest of the team have come here to play. But that is a brutal way to concede the third. This time it's Eli just to send it off that back wall. Marzi doesn't get that read, comes off the crossbar. Played as if he anticipated the target to be found. That was never the intention in the first place.
It is a tough read for Marzi though, because as you rightly say, it is coming off the crossbar, and that bounce kind of can go anywhere. So you've almost got to make a read and hope you're right. Unfortunately, he rolled snake eyes on that one as he tries to bring this one around the left side. Not going to happen. Eli gets it away. Onizuma, big early challenge. Once again, spacing not exactly right. And Marzi, no, son. Too far pushed forwards. Long ball over the top from Dalton. And once again, rounds concede a goal that they simply shouldn't have.
And you want to give them the benefit of the doubt there and just say that that's the kitchen sink being thrown when there's a little bit less time on the clock, but still a bit too much for my liking there. Onizuma will bail away on this kickoff. Don't let it be 5, don't let it be 6. Just try to pick up some pace. This doesn't feel like a goal you're going to be able to chase back. I would just be trying to maintain some stability that you can bring into the second game. It is a best of 5. You've not reached that best of 7 stage yet, and that's extended to the entire season. Unfortunately, Renshiro looks to tuck that one in. It was a great shot to actually find the target. Defense, though, just there to match. Inside pass goes to Onizuma. That's some momentum to carry.
Yeah, that's really nice. You see a lot of the Marine Region players going for that ball on the initial shot. You've got to capitalize on moments like that where you've got a double or triple commit on the left-hand side. No one's back in net. They have to reset themselves. They can't do it in time. Quick thinking from rounds to get that pass through. And Marine Region will take game number 1. They might actually score an extra one here. No, the demo doesn't do much. Marine Region take that game, but positive signs from rounds. We like to say this a lot when things don't exactly go our way. There was work happening on the round side where I'm quite happy to look at. So we'll see if we can capitalize on that moving into the next game and maybe just calm down on defense that little bit.
We'll just call that one a warm-up, move on to the second, and it's going to be a very crucial second to get themselves kick-started into this series. You don't want to be reliant on that reverse sweep, and we had a little bit of a look at the bracket earlier, and I spoke about how vital it really is to pick up this first series, because should should we lose and be on that side of the losers bracket, you're going to be guaranteed facing one of the likes of Death Cloud Esports and or Rising Esports. I'm so sure of it. And with the current form those two teams have been on this season, and especially in this Open specifically, that's not one of the teams you want to fall victim to. Flipping the lower bracket is going to be crucial for success heading into the top 8, and it has to come from this series right here, right now. Of course, we did have unfortunately a few technical difficulties in that game 1. We had some practical difficulties as well, but with those technical difficulties hopefully fixed, hopefully so will the practicals as well. We'll see that follow suit. We're so in tune with our players over here. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. The RDR prod overlay returns. So does Rounds' passion for the pitch. It's a wonderful kickoff to get us started, but Pingu will steal it away.
Yeah, deals with it really well now off the ceiling. Eli's read that one nicely on Azuma. Backboard, Dalton to read it. Goes and gets the 100. No, Dalton will just clear it away, and now it's Eli next up to bat, trying to break that halfway line that Rounds have absolutely made sure Marine Region can't get past. Dalton going to try and bring this one away. Renshiro goes for ball. I'd actually have liked to have seen him go for the boost there instead. Let them have to try and make their way out of defense, make it harder for them to do that. And now Marzi has missed that one. So Marine Region able to escape the pressure from Rounds early and apply some of their own.
Pingu off the ceiling. This one comes straight down on Azuma, though 50s it with Dalton. Heading towards that left wall, it's all Renshiro. Sees Marzi on the opposite side, but there's 3 man there to intercept, and 2 men do actually bring themselves forward for it. That's not going to be good for Marine Region. A lot of boosts wasted down for the unnecessary extra defensive efforts. Dalton's got 0 in the tank. Renshiro's got a really tough read off that wall. The takeoff wasn't great either. On Azuma's not going to get any follow-up touches. Renshiro gets that 100 boost. Dalton and Pingu all attack out once. Renshiro, this is a scary position. See him on the back wall, but on Azuma gets it to safety.
Oof. Dalton actually tried to read that one, didn't quite happen, and now on Azuma trying to get in front. He loses out, and Marzi has committed. Eli is right there on the scene. It's another mistake in the backline for Rounds that causes a Marine Region goal, and yeah, just not really reading the situation as he should. It was an unlucky bounce off that top corner. Marine Region take the lead 1-0.
There's a time to play predictive. There's a time to play reactionary. That was a time to play reactionary for Marzi. Picked the wrong choice out of the 2. Showed his hand very early. Made it very simple just to send that one low and pick up the first goal for Marine Region. And now they are going to be chasing to put themselves on match point. And Azuma jumped early yet again. Marzi, I want to see him take this space. He's been so good at the ground game during the Swiss stage, and those were a few promising touches there. On Azuma, though, demoed off the pitch. Pingu's lurking around that corner as well, can cause some trouble, doesn't get any bumps, just rotates himself back, and Rounds haven't been able to hold on to that possession. This layoff pass could make it happen, but again, great cut coming in from Marine Region. And it's been all about the midfield press at the moment. Yeah. And it has very much favoured the team that can break their way into the final third first, and that has been Marine Region constantly.
Yeah, see, that's a good aggressive play from Marzi there to go up and get that ball. Now on Azuma, fighting with Pingu on the 50. Pingu wins the first, doesn't win the second, but actually a teammate doesn't help the matter. And Eli finishes the job, plays it onto the right-hand side. Marzi gets through, but it's actually on Azuma who's in the way of clearing that ball downfield. Eli just kind of lucks onto the ball as it happens. With just over half the game played, it's 2-0.
It's a good offense coming from Marine Region. It's got to be said. They did so well to make the most of a little space they were given. They made it look like so much with how they were able to find those pockets on Azuma. Let's pinch it across. This is the time to pounce if you are Rounds. You don't get the privilege of this final third very often in this series. That has been evident. It has definitely bled its way into this second game as it was the first. They can feel Rounds very much change their gameplay to support that now. This is very aggressive. Marzi gets the target. Eli clears it out. And on Azuma, gets this one towards the corner. Renshiro's turn to step up, down to Marzi.
No, that's not a great pass. Eli intercepts. It feels like one of those passes where, like, I don't know how much you guys have watched rugby, but as you kind of pass back, there's a player already launching himself towards the line. to try and steal that ball across from you. That's exactly what that feels like. Renshiro couldn't get the power on the pass to get it across to his teammate. There's an interception that comes over, and there might be a goal back here, but it's just going to miss wide, and Eli can send it away. Marine Region right now, very, very much the better team in the server. Rounds don't seem to be at the same speed right now.
No, this is not a good Rounds performance. This is not the Rounds we saw last Sunday. And there were times where, of course, they did struggle, but you take it when you have a good performance against Bro Crows and Strive are playing, as well as Strive Esports are playing right now. And, of course, Marine do look strong. But in that same vein, Rounds do just look weak. They're given so many chances here. The defense has just been so precarious throughout the entirety of this series so far. And we saw that infield pass, which was all too orchestrated from Rounds as well. There's just been no real creativity. First touches haven't been good enough from the team overall. Onizuma, though, will sneak one away. Concerned yet again, just like game one. This is going to be too little too late.
That's a nice team play, really, is Onizuma gets that goal. It's off the back of a Marzi fake in the midfield, so it confuses the defense a little bit off that pass from Renshiro. Don't mind that at all. That's a nice, well-constructed Rounds play, which we've not been able to say so much today. Dalton pushes it forwards, and clearance will be in from Marzi. That one significantly better than his last one. There's now less than a minute to go, and Marine Region looks set to take this game number 2, and if they do, then they will be on series point. But Onizuma looking to bring Rounds back involved, but that's a really nice read from Eli to notice that one's not going in, going over, plays reactionary, gets his team back on the front foot down the left side. Eli looking for another shot, saved away.
Onizuma tries to advance the play on this left wall, has Renshiro right behind him, does well to play for the cheat, stays close, and won't chase towards that boost. Knew Eli was going to get there first and commits to the boost instead. Onizuma has Zero in the tank, just forced to boom it over. And it was a slow rolling ball, so it gave time for Pingu to get himself onto that back wall. It's a wonderful setup from Marzi. That's intelligent. Not going straight for net, knowing that's what Marine Region anticipate. Knows he's got that teammate behind him as well. That's communicated perfectly. Eli's forced to press onto his brakes. And that's left a completely open upper half of that net. 15 seconds, definitely possible. Requires a strong kickoff here. But this one with a demo in the centre just has Pingu being able to waste some time. Onizuma doesn't sneak it through. And those are going to be the final crucial seconds gone. Marine Region put themselves on early match points.
Yeah, absolutely. There is the ball on the ground, and Marine Region will take the victory. And they've been good for it. Marine Region have been the better team on the server today. There's no doubt about it up to this point, Pegasus. But the important thing to remember in Rocket League is a new game starts at 0-0. You know, you could have been the best team for the first 2 games, but if Rounds are able to take some of the momentum that they had towards the end of that game, use it as fuel and open the scoring. I think that's the key in this game 3. Open the scoring, try and get a lead. If they can do that, then I feel confident that there is still a series here. If not, it's really going to be a little bit tough to try and spin that tail.
It took 1.5 minutes for Marine Region to score, and it might make you think that it was a two-sided battle for that first minute and a half. It really wasn't. It was all Marine Region. It was Rounds scrambling for their lives there, and eventually what was inevitable happened for the Marine Region side. And that has been a consistency in these 2 games. Marine Region have been off to these close to perfect starts, and it is just shut Rounds out the game so early, and then you see them play with such desperation for the remainder because they're having to chase that lead. So I agree with you for so many reasons here, Rhino. They need to get this early start. I need to see something impressive in these first 60 seconds, otherwise I fear we're just going to see a repeat of the first and second.
Yeah, and that's not a great kickoff for Rounds at all. But Renshiro to collect and bring some calm. 0 boost now, but his opponents don't know that. Flicks it beyond Pingu. Dalton tries to bring it away. Marzi with an early challenge. Onizuma can't get there before Eli, though, who, by the way, Eli has looked like the fastest player in South Africa today. Absolutely rapid across the field at every given moment, and fair play to him. I don't know that I've seen a better look from Eli so far in RLCS.
And if you want an unbiased opinion of Eli, I've got 100% agree. He's been excellent. He has been excellent in this series. You can't deny it. His ground game has been strong, but Onozuma sniped that bottom corner. Pingu that's well to get that save out. Dalton will send it high. Marzi just wants to tap this one forward. Second touch is crucial. There's space towards that right-hand side. I like to see Onozuma get a bit creative there. Would have liked a few extra touches from him, however. Sidewall will certainly do it for me for the time being. Onozuma wants to break his way into the corner. It has been a decent start from the rounds roster, but these are the positions you start to get a little bit nervous when Eli is there in the center. He comes back across. Dalton's available, sends it just wide. Onozuma gets that quick read. And they're still not out of the woods yet. Pingu not able to put this ball back in the danger area. Eli wants to recycle this one back. The demo should give Round some space, but you know Marine Region are going to try and step up early. Marzi uses the pace of the opponents against him, slows down, saves his boost, places the 50. That ball comes out. Eli does so well to get that read.
Not a bad play at all from Marzi. I think he does the right thing there. The way that he slows the play down, tries to outwit his opponent. There is just a player that's coming from behind. Onozuma looks to put it back to Renshiro, and when Renshiro's playing third man, you know he's going to be in that position to try and take the strike. But it's a better game so far from Rounds. They're playing a little bit more as a team. I agree with you that I would like to see a little bit more possession play. Take a couple of extra touches, try and play with those aerials that we know Onozuma and Renshiro certainly have the capability to do. And here comes Renshiro with one of those plays. Does get cleared away in the end. The backboard not protected, and well, we get away with that one from a standpoint of defense. Rounds try and spark the counter attack, but Pingu catches on his back.
Renshiro waits just in that lower half, knows Onozuma's at that near post, goes straight for net though! Uses the teammate as a dummy, and it's the first lead for Rounds.
This is really nice from Renshiro. It's a really difficult skill to get this with power, driven into the bottom left-hand corner, but he does it really well off the left side. And now Rounds. We asked for it, we called for it, Pegasus. We wanted the 1-0, we wanted a lead. Can we defend it now is the question. And with Eli being as quality as he has been on attack, it's going to be difficult. Onozuma loses that ball a little bit, but in the end, wins the 50. Now Marzi's next up to bat. He will be able to get that 100. Might not matter. Dalton takes a shot. Good save from Onozuma in the top shelf. He can't get a second touch though, but Pingu was relying on him too. So he doesn't get the shot either. Marzi playing really smartly to win that 50. All of Rounds have stepped up in this game number 3. And none more so than that man.
Renshiro makes it 2, and this is the player that had to step up on the big stage. Has had his ticket sent over to Cape Town. He's got his laptop. That's better than his desktop at home. There is zero excuses heading towards today's action. And now on for a hat-trick. Need to see this maintained. Onozuma gets those 50 to cross. Can they make it free with another opportunity? Eli won't let it happen. Sees Pingu on a wider angle. Renshiro anticipates that pass is coming. And the cards were shown rather early in the first place. Pingu's going to take this one low. Onozuma covered higher, and Renshiro knows where the final gap is. All the options were reduced by his teammate. Onozuma might just go all the way himself. Stopped by Dalton.
And Onozuma is starting to gain that confidence. You can see in the way that he's reducing his reliance on that boom ball. He's starting to get his feet under him. That's another opportunity. Great save. Pingu's still there. Another great save. Brown's just trying to get in front of the ball. Onozuma, not a lot of boost, but enough to get in front. Goodness me, there's still another shot. It's wide. Marine Region just taking shots on net. Somehow, none going over the line. Rounds still have a clean sheet.
Don't know how they survived the roundabout there. There was a little bit of panic coming from both sides. I think that's fair to say. But what's important is those seconds have expired. Only 50 seconds left on the clock for Marine Region to try and pick up 2 in Round. Still haven't given up on their offensive duties. Want to make it free. Want to secure that nail in the coffin here for the third game. Onozuma will lay this one to Marzi. So close of a play here. But the 50 comes out from Marine Region. But still, yet again, don't necessarily need a goal at that point. Right now, the yellow text on the screen, it's shy of 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Renshiro, he's second best to get that ball, but he still wins it. There's a demo downfield. Marine Region trying to break down the left side. There is a pass available. They take it to And I think from the positioning that we had, we could see that play coming a mile away. Eli, ball on Bonnet, able to just play it across on Azuma and Marzi. Clearly not in an effective defensive position. Marine Region back within one with 14 seconds to go.
I'd like to hold my breath, but it's my job to speak now. And Shiro in the corner. His job, just keeping that ball out of his net. But Eli's up. Pingu's gone for the pre-jump. He reaches the ball, goes all the way. And Shiro tips that one towards the crossbar, but the ball is still up. Eli's inside on Azuma. Just has to find ground. No, booms it across. There's no blue card there. Rounds take their first game of what needs to be a reverse sweep.
They may have taken 10 minutes to warm up, but my goodness, are they warm now. Renshiro, 2 goals to his name, but 569 score is also lovely to see. Onizuma starting to step up as well. And you can just start to imagine those conversations now happening in the VC. Take it game by game. I think it's fair to say that Rounds were the better side in that game for a majority of it until the last kind of minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. And even then, the defense stood up. At least did enough, got the job done.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. And you know, Marine Region were kept to a 0 goals for over 4.5 minutes. So Rounds have clearly been able to adapt their game style, adapt their play, step up now, and they need to keep that going into this game number 4.
It's a huge improvement from Rounds in that third game. A huge improvement, but the level is still just okay for them. They just played abysmally in those first 2 games. It's a huge jump to get to okay at that point, but the fact that they can turn around those first 2 performances and play like that in the third, look a lot closer to just a professional team here at the main event, should be promising signs that this momentum can continue.
Oh, no.
Should this improving run go on, we can believe in this reverse sweep. I didn't want to give Marine Region any benefits of a doubt here. It's all out. No kickoff goals here. Demo from Rounds. It's in the final third of Marine Region. Onizuma was the closest to making it 1.
And I think that's all you got to do in that instance, right? Onozuma's just got to take a shot where he believes there to be a gap. Unfortunately, the gap did not really exist as Marine Region covered their goal pretty well. Eli over the top. Gets a nice shot as well. Renshiro does enough to clear it away. Pingu now looking for the pass. Well intercepted by Onizuma, who's going to keep moving forwards. Renshiro has the ball on the right-hand side. Looks to go for the shot. Pingu will be there with the save, but he's got 0 boost to follow through. So now the ball out. Dalton will send it away. Eli can't get there, so Renshiro has the ball. Lays it up to Onizuma, but the backboard is defended. You can't really take that extra touch if you see a player up there, and Eli making sure that Onizuma didn't have a freebie.
I don't mind that shot from Renshiro either. I want to see Rounds mix it up a bit more because they were too one-dimensional in those first 2 games. You saw them just attempt an inside pass every single time. Marine Region was starting to read it, and Renshiro was really the one who switched up, was going for shots at awkward angles, and Region were punished for their lack of coverage. And he's just making sure that that test is still put on their opponents. You need them to feel stressed throughout the entirety of this series, because eventually they are going to start to give way. Eli, though, is applying the pressure now towards Rounds. It's 0 boost for Renshiro, but he coolly just brings this one across.
Yeah, not sure why Renshiro didn't call for Onizuma to leave that 100 boost for him. Or if he did, it certainly wasn't respected, as in the end, Onizuma does fill up the tank. And now Marzi taking the ball through, but Dalton's got him read like a book. Renshiro over to the left side. Marzi with no boost. He tries to catch up to the ball, but Eli knows what's up, really. He knows that he's not got any boost. It's now over to this near side. Eli won't get there. Ball over the top from Marzi. Looks dangerous. Pingu has to try and recover. Nice catch. And will get past the first man as well. That's all he needed to do.
Renshiro lurking around this corner. The decision making had to be there. It was pretty strong. Dalton just did so well to get the clearance out. Marzi's up fast. Pingu goes straight towards him. Now Marzi's given a second opportunity. Demoed though as soon as he lands that first touch. Dalton's 2 touches don't land anywhere favourable. That pinch from Onizuma doesn't either though for himself. It's possession constantly flip-flopping, but it's in the dangerous third of Rounds. This should give them a little bit of space and time to take a deep breath, calculate how they want to attack this ball forward. Marzi doesn't land that, but forces Dalton though to jump early. Donizuma just keeps it in the area when
Oh.
Shiro cuts round fast. Marzi's very high towards the play. Getting a touch in that 50 was so important. But this is why Onizuma gets the boost priority, goes for the coast to coast, has made a lot of ground, but it's eventually bumped off.
Yeah, and it will happen. And Renshiro gets that clearance. Is that going to drop? No, it doesn't hit the roof, but he still follows through. No one back from Marine Region. They make the mistake on their own backboard. It's a lovely pinch that works out for Rounds, but it's a miss. It has to go down as a miss. I thought maybe it was going to dip under the crossbar. It didn't. Doesn't matter. Rounds. Renshiro is there to finish the job. Rounds take the lead, looking to go to game 5.
It's just such a tough angle to read. It's really tough to be a defender in those kinds of positions, especially when it is coming off the ceiling. Sometimes it comes off a bit heavier than others. You don't know if that's going to be crossbar or down either, but you've got to make a choice. The rock, paper, scissors match was lost, and now Rounds can hold on to that first goal. Still 90 seconds. Still, it's a bit of a tentative scoreline when you got Marine Region able to step it up at any point, but this has definitely been a better performance from Rounds, especially than what we saw in the first two, though Marine Region haven't been completely shut out, and Shiro clears towards that corner, and that bump against Eli does block his angle. It's a 2v1 versus Pingu, sneaks under, but I didn't include the second man that was there in defense. That's, of course, the woodwork.
Yeah, that one's an unfortunate one because the snowplow was there, ready to take out the player, but unfortunately it just isn't as effective at this particular moment. Renshiro takes it past the first player with ease, but the second is a bit more tricky. Marzi pops the ball high. Onazuma's there to follow. Dalton comes across, and the way that Marine Region are having to cut these rotations from Rounds does take away a lot of their boost, which means that Rounds can take that ball back in the midfield as they are doing. Pingo knocks it forwards, but again, Eli, no boost up the field, which means that Rounds have possession again. A good demo. Now a chance for Renshiro off the right-hand side. Wants to play the 50. Does it really nicely. Time taken off the clock with every second that goes by. 20 seconds remain. Rounds so close right now to that game 5.
This booms across, though. Marzi stays close.
Don't mind
Do
that.
not allow any 0-second heroics. I love the bump against Eli, but Dalton is local. Renshiro, make sure he gets to that ball first. It should 50 down. We go to game 5. Reverse sweep dreams remain alive.
It was dreams a couple of games ago because the way that Rounds were playing, well, they looked like they were asleep. But now, suddenly, we have woken up. The beast has awoken. Kept Marine Region to 0 goals in a game for the first time in this series, and Rounds have the momentum. Just look at the shots, especially 8 shots on the side of Rounds to the 5 of Marine Region. That shows exactly what we're talking about. The Rounds are able to take a little bit more of this game than they were in the first 2 games. They're now able to maintain possession in that offensive half. And if they can keep doing that, if they keep playing the way they are, if they keep Marine Region to the quiet that they have been in the last 2 games, we might be going through to play 5 Fears, which, by the way, is confirmed. It's 5 Fears who are through into the winner's semi-final.
What a surprise, right? What a surprise.
No one's surprised,
But Renshiro, by the way, 6 goals. Marine Region had 5 total. He has been the player who stepped up. He was on for a hat-trick in Game 3. He supplied all the pressure there for Rounds in that Game 4. But this is the big one. Game 5, as we know, the third game to win is always the toughest, especially in a reverse sweep scenario. Marine Region now going to feel all the pressure against them. They're going to give it their absolute all. Rounds have so much momentum to maintain, but that could come crashing down in the first few seconds. Marine Region in 6.
And I'll tell you something, if that one doesn't go in and Rounds clear their lines, then Marine Region might just forfeit right there and then. Because, like, at that point, it's just not your day, is it? What are we doing here? But the ball came off the post. There was 2 to respond. Marine Region take the lead. And I've got to say, Marine Region's kickoff strategies, they've really impressed me so far today. They really have caught Rounds out a couple of times. They've not always made them fully work. But the way that they've been able to give themselves the advantage has been very impressive. The drop down, it's not going to get much. And now Renshiro with the 100 boost will try and bring it away. Gets stuffed by Eli on the sidewall. Now there's a chance, but a good clearance away by Rounds should now allow us to get some positive momentum.
Eli drops this one down. Well touched there first. Renshiro Will try and bring this one on target. Pingu defends well on the backboard, but now you're seeing Round start to clamp down on midfield, playing Marine Region's own strategy against him, but whether it's an improvement, still left to be decided. Marzi's just going to have to bail away, knows he's going to be beaten to those initial balls, allows Onizuma to just take this one over on the overlap, reverse challenges, gets that bump, and they're caught completely off guard. Marzi got his first touch for free. Onizuma gets another demo for their troubles, revenge for what they had just done to Renshiro. But still leads to naught. Eli's able to take it over. It's a good read yet again coming from Renshiro. This has been a game of the finest touches and decisions.
Yeah, it's unlucky there from Marzi. An extra touch there might have given Rounds an opportunity to take the shot. Renshiro on 0 boost, though. He's going to struggle to get out. He still makes his way past 1. He gets the 50 on 2. Why did I ever doubt the finish, man? He's able to get his way down the other end of the field. Now it's Onizuma playing the ball across. Dalton's in a good position to make that play. Renshiro stops him in his tracks. Has Pingu. Marzi, don't think you should be there. Bumping his own captain. And now there's a chance for Onizuma to bring it away. Renshiro trying to turn the corner. Is there help? There is. Marzi just won't be able to read it. 3 minutes to go. Marine Region still 1 up, but Round starting to move in strong.
Onizuma taps this one down. Pingu, that's a tough angle to find the shot. Dalton not going to cause any troubles here for Renshiro. Calm, collected, gets it over 1. Pingu's there in a second. Eli hunts again on that corner. And the longer you go without that goal, the more desperate a team can get. Rounds cannot fall victim. They do not. Instead, it was Marine Region who doubled up into their own corner, and no one was left back to defend. The inside pass to Renshiro and a completely open strike for Onizuma. And it seems like such a simple play, Rhino, but those two have got that perfect.
Yeah, they have. And it's all down to Renshiro baiting 2 players in from Marine Region. All 3 of them in that corner. Can't give that goal back easily, and luckily we don't. In fact, we might take an extra one. Renshiro just skimming the ball, and it's not quite worked out for him. Marzi doesn't get a clean touch, so it will be cleared away by Marine Region. But you're absolutely right. As soon as you see the 3 players there and Renshiro wins the ball, it has to be a Rounds goal. There has to be a second man there. And it's Onizuma who makes the play. Now Marzi down the left-hand side, trying to get beyond Pingu. Doesn't do so. The Spaniard now trying to bring this ball away. Challenged by 2. And in the end, it's just kind of up in the air. But a demo from Rounds. They were reticent to make those demos earlier in the game. Eli's been bumped off the play. There's still a chance for Pingu. Crossbar it in. And Marine Region retake the lead after no challenge comes through onto the 3rd man.
It's a really well-created opportunity. Eli got rid of that 3rd man, and that's what allowed Pingu to just slam that one home. It was a really well-coordinated attack. There wasn't a single wasted player on the pitch for Marine Region. That was too much pressure for Rounds to handle, but how does that match to the pressure they feel right now with just over 100 seconds left on the clock? And a goal still to chase for their reverse sweep.
Yeah, absolutely. Good positioning here from Renshiro. He's going to have to win 250s. He doesn't, but Marzi's on that far side. And he's the only one over there as well, so he might be able to capitalize on this. Slows things down. Nice play past Eli, but he doesn't have enough boost to make anything else work. Onizuma now just trying to flick it back to the captain. Off the top corner, Onizuma trying to keep the pressure on. It will be cleared away here by Marine Region, and Onizuma's made a mistake. Cleared away by Pingu, but 100 boost picked up by Marzi, and he will be able to bring this one through. Looking maybe for the coast to coast. Is there a pass downfield? There's a demo downfield, but they can't find a way into the middle. It's a nice bump onto Pingu. Is there a 3rd man chasing in? No, there isn't. Marzi with the boost benefit will not get past the Penguin man. And now with 50 seconds to go, Rounds in deep trouble.
Oh, it's a very high press coming from Marine Region. If Rounds are able to pick up those few touches and get their way out of defense with a decent bit of boost saved over. Potentially the counter-attacks can be there, but that's with lots of assumptions of that escape in first place. Dalton takes him time to pick up the 100, and you can see both sides of your screen. There's a clear advantage when it comes to the resources. Renshiro tries to buy some time with a heavy touch, but Pingu is already there to stop it dead in its tracks. The only player with anything in the tank is Onizuma. He's got to send it long, gets the midfield boost picked up, goes for the bumping plays as well. That one doesn't land, but now it's just 10 seconds left on the clock. Rounds need to find something now. This could be on the Doomers! What a snipe for the top corner from the Reunion A man. And it's the captain to be the catalyst.
Renshiro to Onizuma to the top left corner. And suddenly, things start to turn around for the Finnish Org. 5 seconds though, and we know Marine Region's kickoffs have been good. That one less so. The clearance away. Onizuma will let it drop. Game 5 OT Champions Field for the prize of playing 5 Fears. Eli will send it away. Looking for Renshiro. He's got an empty backfield. Eli off the backboard. Renshiro lets it go. But Pingu will get back in time. Onizuma drops it down. Renshiro with the near post. Just can't convert. The pinch is too far.
And Rounds are looking confident. The communication is there. I love the attempt to have a dummy shot. However, don't let your overconfidence be incompetence. What a save from Marty on the goal line. Eli tries to flick it over to, had no teammate close, but Renshiro does the job for him. Passes across and Eli will take it. Marine Region with the reverse sweep denial send Rounds into the lower brackets.
Yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately, look, there were players back, all right, but Renshiro's touch in the midfield there is simply not good enough. It needs to be much higher if he's going to get any kind of play away, and he's just not able to do that. It was a nice try. Rounds lose against Marine Region 3-2, both in game score and in goals in that final game, and I think we are left being a little bit deflated because Rounds fought back so hard. 5 seconds left, you get that extra goal, you start to think maybe there's a chance. And especially with the way that OT started, it was Rounds on the aggression, Rounds on the attack. And unfortunately, it just doesn't go our way. And that's going to be difficult for Rounds to kind of pick themselves up from, because if we're deflated here on the desk, then imagine how the players are going to be feeling.
That was a game decided, a series decided in the first half easily. Should we have gone for Rounds that played for game 3 and onwards? You can afford to lose a game like that. If that was how it started, it was a close game. Give credit to Marine Region. They played excellently in that 5th game. Rounds played pretty decent as well. That wasn't a bad game to lose by any means. But game 1 and game 2, they're just unacceptable when you're in a best of 5 format and when you're this late stage in a competition, because teams like this will punish you for that, and you are going to regret it a little later down the line, because sure, we could have pulled off a reverse sweep. We shouldn't have had that be the necessary case for Rounds to pull off this victory. That should have never been the win condition, because again, you play like you did in game 3 onwards. How they played in game 5, that would have been okay to happen mid-series. Completely fine.
Yeah, absolutely. If that happens in game 3 and you're already 2-0 up, like, you're not going to be complaining about that in the slightest. But unfortunately, it wasn't the way. So with the way that SSA is set up today, we've got admins in the lobby, so we are going to take a very, very quick break. But when we come back, we will have Rounds versus T2G Esports in a elimination match. Top 16 is where Rounds are right now, and it's where they could close out if they don't win the next series. We'll see you on the other side.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor, all in one lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, yeah, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now it's about you.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä ei näy 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikenttä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen. Vaikka näkö arjessa toimisi hyvin, se ei aina kerro koko tarinaa. Pelissä, pienilläkin piilevillä seikoilla, voi olla ratkaiseva merkitys. Onneksi ne piilevätkin seikat on korjattavissa.
Well, we said that this matchup was a must-win. That is literal to this point. Now we find ourselves in the lower bracket. It was a reverse sweep denial coming from Marine Region. See them advancing uppers against 5 Fears round. Centre lowers going to get a much easier matchup in their next series as a result, but it does leave a lot to be bargained for once we reach that lower finals. One of either DevCloud Esports or Rising Esports to face. As you can see on this bracket, it's been a DQ win for DevCloud, a 3-1 win for Rising Esports versus White Rabbit. Admittedly, a little bit surprised that they would drop a game in that series if they were going to play at all with a form as they did when they were Strive Esports. The rest of the results you knew because you've either seen them or you knew them before you saw them, Rhino.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those situations. It's pretty much worst case scenario really for rounds right now, was dropping down into these lower brackets. However, as you can see, we will be dropping down to play T2G Esports, who themselves have had a pretty tough time. They lost 3-1 to Marine Region in the Swiss last week. So in theory, based on based on Rocket League maths, we are one game better than T2G, but we will see whether that is the case as we do go through to play them, because of course Marine Region had a very, very strong Swiss stage last week, unlike ourselves, it's fair to say. So, T2G have just come off the back of facing Five Fears, which is a tough game for anybody. Marine Region have to run that gauntlet now. And if there is one team who you will never have momentum after playing, it's Five Fears. So, T2G are probably going to be starting on the back foot.
And I would love to be able to go off the Marine Region litmus test, but we've got to go practical here in the RLCS. It's going to be rounds versus T2G, as mentioned. 3 relatively unknown players in the scene, of course, 2 of which being from the Reunion Islands. Just like rounds, it's going to be Tycup and Yab. Rounded off with the Frenchman, Sully, to round off that T2G roster. They qualified through round 5 of the Swiss stage, and they had a rather interested run, to be completely honest with you. A Game 4 win versus Free Racketeers, a Game 5 win versus Team HSK, an organisation we're used to seeing in the top 16, but did not make it this time. They got swept by Pioneers as expected. You mentioned the Game 4 loss to Marine Region, but then beating Flight to Reacts fans in Game 5, which is Zeph, Chunkler, and Dylan in that round 5, is certainly an impressive qualifying match to get themselves into this GSL. So by all counts of the mark, a team not to be underestimated, but rounds should be taking this. A lot of emphasis on that should.
A lot of emphasis on that should, yes, Pegasus. And if rounds are to get past this test, which they will be the favourites in, then there's a conversation to be had in the next game about how we do against Deathcloud or Rising Esports. But for now, we are just about to get into the game. And Pegasus, this feels bigger than maybe it should do.
Well, it's an elimination game. This is about as big as it can possibly get. It's been a very early entry into this lowers, but this is where champions are made. What a run it could be. It's some infighting for the Reunion A, and it's French versus the Finn residing in Cape Town. Will there be a party in the B&B? We'll have to find out by the end of the day. It starts here.
Rounds in a position they did not want to be in at the start of the day, but now that you're here, you must put your best foot forwards. Get yourself some momentum going into the next game. Sully looking to do that for T2G, the Frenchman. Starting with a quick recovery. Not able to get too much done, and the clearance is in from rounds. Sully will bring it back down the line. Onizuma misses, so Renshiro has to cut the rotation. And now looking to get a second challenge as well. Great work from the Finn.
Onizuma just wants to boom it across. Has Marzi there to go for the cherry pick. It's a great save coming from Tycho, but I like the early offensive chance coming from rounds. This is a series where you're looking at them not just winning the series, but you need them to pick up momentum and some confidence for whoever they play in that next round, because Deathcloud and formerly Strive as well, Rising Esports, have proven that they are some of the top caliber for what rounds have to offer. Strive did have that great performance in that open free, and that has certainly continued past the break. But sideball read coming from Tycho brings the ball into danger. Sully, though, can't keep this one within the post. Okay, already a few plays here coming from T2G, and you can already feel the talent on this roster.
Yeah, it's a bit of a flashy team. You can already kind of tell they want to go for those aerial dribbles, play sidewall reads, just be a little bit quicker than their opponents. They definitely weren't able to do that in their first series of the day. Rounds need to prove that they can't do it in their second either. Tyco puts it forwards, but only as far as Onizuma puts the ball down towards Renshiro. The blue trail was there, but I still think there was a touch from the defender. Now Marzi's turn. Looks for Renshiro. Nice play. Onizuma thought about pressing forwards as third man. Decided not to. I don't really mind that decision.
Oh, there's a miss there coming from Yab, and Marzi is going to be able to get this one to Onizuma. Takes his time with the first touch, just to flick it up for the second. It's low boost for TTG. And creative is counter-attack. Going to have to come for the redirect. Never allowed, because Marzi gets there first. Onizuma will take it over. It's off the ceiling. He can solo alone. Renshiro will get the job done. Poaches it from inside the box. Times his run to pure perfection. But this is all off the back of usual Onizuma mechanical heroics.
Onizuma to Renshiro. Provider turns into goal scorer. And now, Browns almost lose their lead immediately, and they might still. Yab gets up. I don't think the defender was really expecting a player to be there. Is it Onizuma? It is. He thought he could take his time, but Yab was right there. And suddenly, after going 1-0 up, after a little while, T2G respond immediately.
Very quick response, but again, somewhat gifted away there from Rounds. They're going to be given a few warning shots early in this game as they try to feel out a roster that they likely would not have faced before. I mean, they were by no means a team that was on our radars. Tycho leaves this one over to Sully. Wants to get the third man involved. Still gets the chance with that miss from Renshiro. Onizuma booms it right back. Tycho still stuck to his own corner. Marzi has got a lot of work to do here in the corner. Has zero boost though to pull it off. Renshiro will take charge. It goes back into that inside space. So this is all T2G's.
Yeah, it is, and that demo downfield isn't really going to help Browns at all, but Onizuma and Marzi trying to keep the pressure on, and they're doing a good job of it. Boost steals as well, inbound, but that clearance with the pinch is enough to get Rounds a little bit worried. Renshiro, big clearance away, off the corner. Can he get there first? No, he can't, but a demo is important. Now it's Marzi off that right-hand side, looking to get an extra touch to pass it back. Not powerful enough, the ball over the top. It is on target. Renshiro goes across to make the save. Now picked up by Tykop. There's so many T2G players there, and not a single Browns player able to get off the ground. Poor from defense, 2-1 to T2G.
Just fearful of the storm completely. Marzi and Onizuma both essentially car to car there. Even if one of them jumped, you'd get scared that they butt heads in that occasion, and this is what Quantek started talking about during the Swiss stage. You have those positions where two players can certainly go for the ball. The worst case scenario is neither of them going for the attempt, and we got a little bit of a taste for that, because even if there's a double commit, still going to try to tip it out over, especially because T2G themselves actually overextended.
Yeah, they did, and T2G are a team that aren't flawless. We've seen that. You know, they went to round 5 in Swiss. They will give their opposition opportunities. Tykop now off that right hand side, cleared away by Renshiro, but there's no one there to receive other than Yab. Puts it off the ceiling, takes a shot, cleared away. Rounds on their defensive side after going 2-1 down. Finally Renshiro breaks through, backboard, surely the finish is there. Onizuma makes sure of it, top left corner. Rounds finally take advantage of a field position given to them by their opponents.
Definitely given to them. Tycho had a bit more time, but I think he anticipated on that back wall, somewhat panicked towards that touch, but now it's all focus on these final 44 seconds. That tells me you're not going to be gifted this final one. Got to earn it. Onizuma tries to make it happen off that backboard. Already up his Marzi tucked in. That's goal number 3. 35 seconds still to go. Let's not count their chickens before they hatch.
Slow day at the office for Marzi today, but that is a confidence booster as that one comes off the backboard. Down off the crossbar. Gonna make you feel good about your positioning in this series. And Rounds retake the lead. Remember, they had that 1-0 lead earlier on, and now Marzi, with that confidence, gets the reset, gets a challenge. Has he given us an opportunity on Onizuma backboard? All 3 members of T2G go for it. You can tell that they're a little bit frazzled based on how the end of this game has gone. And Rounds continuing to just be that little bit more professional, that little bit more centered. With 10 seconds to go, they are still 1 goal up.
And Shiro wants to sneak this one under. Just has back time to wait, as you mentioned. Marzi gets the reset, pops it high. I don't like the ball being high for these kind of scenarios, because T2G should be able to build it up, but it's a poor attempt at an infield pass. Rounds take game 1. But it was a bit more precarious than we would like. Certainly one that went down to the wire.
Yeah, it certainly did. And so, there you go. It will... Interesting. Sorry, I was just reading and I didn't notice that Marzi didn't get credited for his goal there, but he did. We promise, as we will see in the highlights as well. But Not the most solid of game ones. Not the game one that we were wanting to see from Rounds. Not the convincing play from this organization. However, they steadied the ship. They got things back on track after going 2-1 down and looked a lot better going into that final minute and a half of that game. T2G didn't really know how to deal with the Rounds press and the Rounds attack, and that's a position that we want them to be in.
Yeah, of course. I mean, as long as they're not chasing from an early deficit like they were in uppers, they should be fine here. This has been a team that has been kind of iconic now for their slow starts. I think that's fair to say, right? No, they never really hit the ground running when it comes to these series, and if anything, it's concerning if they do, because then they start to lose a little bit of steam later. Never easy to go off their first half. Hopefully, as bad as it gets, is that first game performance. And instead we'll see them pick up pace instead of lose it. Renshiro just waiting on his own goal line. Times that to perfection. How he can turn around and get that 50. Onazuma's now on. Gets the reset. Can't get that pop-up high. Tykop will clear it out. And now Renshiro will cut for himself. Could have gone all the way back, but instead remains front-footed. Calls Marty back instead. That's a scary 50 vote. Enough time, though, for Onozuma to get back. Flip reset, goes over on that backboard. Marzi was waiting to clear.
Yeah, but not clear well enough. Oof, that shot really should have been on target. Team bump as well from the Rounds boys in the back corner. There's a chance here for Renshiro. Tries to cut through. Good catch by Tykop. They'll move down the field. Onozuma just turning on that 100 boost as soon as he got it. Was that a mistake? Close. Very, very close. But in the end, Rounds do bring it away.
Close, but not close enough. Inside pass for Rounds, also not close enough. Renshiro gets his first catch. That's so confident from Yab. He'll just step up. Stop that one dead in its tracks. Tykop sends it over again. Marzi boos Renshiro. No. That's way too miscommunicated yet again. It's better, cleaner between Renshiro and Onozuma, though. Shot is on. Save. Comes from Yab yet again. There have been chances for both sides. And that's not exactly what I'd like to say, but I guess a 0-0 isn't the worst case scenario. Renshiro, though, off the back wall gives us a better one to look out for. There were demos on the goal line. This was just a victory lap to get the play across the line. A wonderful initial beat to make it happen. And of course, you have to keep your cool for the follow-ups.
Yeah, and it's important to get that over the line. Rounds do lead, and now hopefully they will be able to settle down. I thought maybe we'd be treated to another T2G special kickoff. It doesn't happen. Marzi off the left-hand side. Should be cleared away by Sully, but he's got absolutely no boost to follow that ball through. Still gets in front of Renshiro. And now Onozuma off the backboard. Sully to clear away. He's got enough boost to take the ball beyond. Gets bumped off the ball. Renshiro, back corner, can't get beyond Tykop. Is there a recovery? There is. Onozuma is back to clean up the pieces, but aggression from T2G. They won that goal back almost as soon as they did in the first game. This time, they will be denied off the kickoff.
Sully. Oh, that's a brilliant ball in. Renshiro and Onozuma double up on that first challenge. And Marzi can't get back in time. Thought there was going to be enough firepower in this defense with just a 2. He was the first man that had to challenge in the first place. Almost bumps Renshiro to make that save happen. But that's another double commit there where Renshiro is involved. And TTG simply able to grab that one back, and another attack comes straight afterwards. These could come in pairs. Marzi just doesn't get it past Yab. Just enough, though, for him to not have a straight-up shot on net. But it's still another one of these games where my heart rate's all over the place.
Yeah, Rounds know how to make games like this very, very close indeed. And 1-1 at the moment with still over 2 minutes to go. It is indeed that. Tykop looking for the bump. Doesn't really get it. Marzi in front of the play there. Renshiro wanted 100 boost, didn't get it. So gets bumped off the play, but a clearance in from Onozuma. No one moving forward with him, but I don't mind that as resources desperately needed, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. Renshiro got lucky with that 100 spawn, but that's a really, really bad touch out of the corner. He will make the most of it, and it will get clear beyond the halfway line. But Pegasus, I've got to be honest, I'm just thinking forwards, and if Rounds do get past T2G, which there's still no guarantees that they will, then whoever is waiting for us, Deathbound or Rising Esports, they are going to take advantage of these mistakes that we're calling out.
Easily as well, easily. We've already fallen victim to both of those teams on different occasions, of course. Marzi, though, hold on. Back wall is there! Oh, that's a training pack shot that hasn't found the target. You'd anticipate a player like him to finish that one off, gets his second chance, but the pass is really heavy from Onizuma. Marzi's just going to have to play setup instead. Onizuma will feel the chase behind him. Doesn't fall for the pressure, however, instead remains patient, drops that ball down. Gets a good enough 50 for his teammate to take over. Marzi doesn't follow through. I actually like that Renshiro is able to pick this one up instead. Was able to keep that ball a little bit closer, and that has created this offense. There are players, though, defending on this backboard. They have read a lot of these chances that rounds have gone for. Ball up yet again for Yam. Marzi gets the bump on. Azuma can take charge, and I can see on that left-hand side lurking in the area. It's Renshiro. The strike doesn't have the power.
Absolutely. Renshiro once again, though, sees the pass over to the left. Marzi doesn't get up quickly enough, but now Onizuma at the angle. Well blocked again by T2G, and their defense is really stepping up here in this game too. But is it enough? Ball off the backboard. Surely Renshiro wins the game for rounds. 9 seconds left. But eventually the pressure does pay for the Finnish org.
All three finding an impact in this attack. Onizuma starts it off with that demo opening up the space, but it's a gorgeous ground setup from Marzi to Renshiro, but still 8 seconds to hold. Tykop trying to find a teammate, instead finds Onizuma. This goes back down the center. There's a player on that side. Well, 50s from Renshiro. Marzi just has to make sure he gets any touch, and rounds put themselves on match point. 2 games in a row with 2 goals collectively making the difference. You can do the maths, that's 1 apiece. T2G, they have proven to be a formidable side. They are dangerous. There are certainly more talent brewing here in SSA, but Onizuma and Marzi are supposed to be those new kids on the block, and they are making sure that's the case. And Shiro, though, has been the perfect import yet again.
Yeah, and continuing to prove his worth in the rounds team is just what Renshiro does when they need him most. He seems to always step up, and it's been a privilege to watch Renshiro play for the last, well, it's this split, last split, and the split before that. So at the end of this, it'll be 3 splits on Bounce, and yeah, he looks so good in every team that you put him in. But we still go back to the point that we always make about rounds, and that is communication. It's not good enough, because Renshiro bumping Marzi off that play in the left, that's the one I will always go back to. And we often talk a couple of times about inexcusable moments, about times where you should be making a play or should be doing something, and then you don't, and that is inexcusable. That one there is no reason for it. Zero explanation that Renshiro can give us at all that would cause him to make that team bump. So we move on into game 3, still 2-0 up. We do concede right off the bat, and now it's going to be interesting to see how rounds respond.
Whilst we're on the topic of Renshiro, this isn't the only team he's fighting for. He's fighting for his country, Finland, to get themselves into the Esports Nations Cup. He needs to pick up as many points as possible. At the moment, he's getting a minimum for a qualifying team in the main event. Winning this series gives his country an extra, and of course, not only is he trying to get Finland into the tournament, he's trying to make sure that if they make it there, it's going to be his name on the roster sheet. But at the moment, 2-0 down, this is going to be only 1 point for the Finns, and certainly not a performance that rounds are looking for.
No, absolutely not. And we have had news from the upper bracket. Death Cloud Esports are currently 2-0 up against Rising Esport. So it seems like the X-Strive will be making their way into the lower bracket unless they can pull off the reverse sweep. T2G, well, they're trying to get a reverse sweep themselves, actually. Marzi clearing it away. Yeah, putting it over on that far side. That is a ridiculously early jump from Onizuma, and I don't know how much I like it. There's a chance there over onto the far side. T2G should be able to pick this one up relatively easily. They don't. They make a meal of it, but rounds cannot capitalize.
Onizuma always gets the golden boy treatment when it comes to those early jumps because you know what he can do with it when he is playing confident, and I much prefer a confident pre-jumping Onizuma than one that plays it a bit too safe, because that's just when he becomes any other player. It's that special flair that has always made the difference for this roster. So with you in this occasion, not sure that was the time for it, but I'm glad it's at least in his game right now.
Sure. Confidence is one thing, isn't it? Yeah, Onizuma going over the top. Yab will collect. Looks for the musty to send it away. Doesn't get all of it. Renshiro can turn on the play. Sully sends it over. Onizuma out of the corner. He's the third man, but he's actually pushed so far forwards. Renshiro takes a shot. Tycop doesn't actually get credited with a save. It was never on target. And the clearance in from T2G again. But Brown's starting to build that momentum, build that aggression in this game 3. That's a nice pass middle. In fact, it might just drop. Yab has to make a save, and Tycop clears.
Back over to Renshiro. Gets that 50 with Tycop, ducks down towards that corner. Onizuma is up so early again. Amazi with 2 touches, advances the play. Tycop hasn't jumped yet, waits to the final moment, has lured in Renshiro, but he still gets that 100 boost in the corner. This should weaken the T2G defense, and Sully thought he had a teammate behind him. He saw him bail away from the ball and realized at the last second that was his to chase, and that's allowed the ball to stay in this half, in Rounds' possession, and even if it does convert over, there are players waiting to 50-50 at this halfway line. This time it's Onizuma off the ceiling, once in the backboard, didn't get her. Instead, it was an orange card. T2G managed to get a demo there. Marzi gets one out of revenge. It's great on the half turn to get that shot across, just test the defense with a lot of power. Doesn't allow them to have any easy control, but Sully thought he had that opportunity yet again. This is the pressure I want to see from Rounds, but the counters come quick when Shiro clears wide.
Yeah, he waited until the last moment, didn't he? But he did end up making that clearance. Rounds with a really long period of possession there and aggression, but can't really make it work. T2G's defense just too strong, essentially, especially their backboard defense. Really impressed by the way they're able to get up and make sure that doesn't matter how much boost they have, Rounds don't get a free backboard at any given moment, because you know Renshiro's lurking to counter, and Tycop once again being that last man on defense, making the block. They don't necessarily need to convert it into offense. They're 2-0 up. There's a minute and 40 left. But as long as they get that clearance, force Rounds back, force them away from their half, that's all they really want from these defensive moments, and that's a great fake by Yab.
And this is going to be 30 seconds of, but I don't want to be panic stations from Rounds. I want them to maintain this solidity, because it does feel like that goal had been coming for them. However, flips towards that other side. T2G just not wasteful with when the chances come.
Yeah, it's a counter-attack. The demo really helps them, but at the end of the day, Onozuma's favourite to get to this ball, and he just doesn't read it. Just doesn't make the play. And whether he's not been told by a teammate that he's going to get to the ball first, so he feels like he has to go forwards to try and make the save, or whatever the reasoning happens to be, it's yet another goal by an opponent today that we can chalk down to a Rounds defensive mistake. And there are just a few of those happening on this one that we're not too happy with. So it is now set in stone. Rising Esport do lose to Death Cloud, and they await the winner of this game, which Rounds needs to win one of the next 2 games in order to get that over the line, because right now it does not look like they are going to be winning this game 3. Renshiro, though, might have something to say about that. 2 goals remaining in 40 seconds.
And he was the player in last, now puts himself in first for the next goal scoring opportunity. No follow-up touches needed, but completely played for the 50-50 against Yap. He went for the same. That leaves both players getting no touches. 2 goals needed, about 20 seconds apiece as your average. And Shiro wants to send it to Onizuma. It's a great block coming in from Sully. That was definitely a goal scoring opportunity. Should that touch not have been there? Onizuma doesn't get that quick read of the sideball. Now this is going to be kitchen sink time with 20 seconds down. I said I didn't want them to panic play early. Now this is where you can start to really press down the accelerator. See how far this puppy can go. Those are some fluid, quick tiki-takas between Onizuma and Renshiro. It cuts its way across the T2G defense, and Tycop is left dizzy.
Really nice play. Really nice play coming through from Rounds, but is it too little too late? 13 seconds left on the clock. Need to win the kickoff. Don't do that. Need to win the second ball off the kickoff. Renshiro now to do that. Pass over to Marzi. Back to Renshiro, but Tykop cuts that one off. Like the idea, but it's too legible. And now the ball will drop. T2G take game 3. But Rounds score the last 2 goals of the game. So if they can tighten up early on in the game, get that opener, then I'm still not too worried about this. But if T2G can win game 4, well, then we're a little bit concerned.
I want to see them a little bit less leaky in this next game, especially win or lose, Rhino. Win or lose, because it is confirmed who's going to be that lower finals matchup to play for qualification into that top 8, which has always been the aim here for Rounds. It would also allow them to skip the double elimination stage of Open number 5 as well. It's going to be Rising Esports waiting for them. They got swept down by Death Cloud Esports. Of course, the players on that roster are a consistent top 4 side, so fair play to them, but also facing a loss to White Rabbit Gaming a little bit earlier in the day. This might be a very different team to the Strive Esports we've been left very used to, and I don't want to say that certain orgs can be curses, but Virtus Pro over in NA and any Shopify Rebellion roster are going to be my case studies for you.
Yeah, and Overlooked in APAC as well. That's another one for you. But yeah, I mean, Rising against Death Cloud, they lost game 1 by a goal, but then the other 2, they got absolutely played off the park, 4-0 and 4-1. Yeah, maybe not the Strive Esports of old. What a save, Marzi, to kick off game number 4. Remember, in game number 3, T2G scored very early on, and they kind of steamrolled their way to the bank after it. Rounds deny them of the same start in game 4.
Every single goal so crucial to the gameplay. You cannot let any slip through and think you can chase it back later, because that time runs down way quicker than you expect when you are the team behind. It feels like time slows down when you are ahead. Yeah. But of course, vice versa, certainly true. It's a great bump, but Rounds had a second and third man available. They pass between each other. It's a reunion. They connected with a double tap, and that's another double tap miss from Marzi. But any other day, you expect him to slot home.
Really feels like today Marzi's got the easy double tap, got the really difficult double tap, the silly angles that he's been able to hit. And then the easier ones, he just kind of leaves still on the plate. But either way, it's good signals, good signs early on in the first minute of game number 4. Here's another opportunity off the crossbar this time. Marzi at the back post, needs the double, doesn't find it, sends it away. And now T2G trying to capitalize, 0 boost on that player. Now Tykop tries to bring it across. He gets 50'd out of the play. Onizuma going to try and get up first, but it's really nicely read by Sully. Won't matter. Marzi should still be able to clear away into the left corner and does.
Back on vote for Renshiro to pop it high. Tykop's got a very awkward angle onto that ball. Yabvo does legitimise the position his teammate found himself in with that clearance forward. Still able to make much work with the ball. T2G looked a little bit scrappy in their own half. They don't look as coordinated as they have done previously. Case in points. Taking
Advantage from double commits from your opponents. Triple commits even. Goodness me, I didn't see the player in goal also jump for that ball. T2G scatter to the winds and leave the door open for Onizuma to simply walk through. He won't score too many easier goals than that one. There's a chance here that one goes on target. Tykop has to come across and make the save. And now Rounds, automatically from the kickoff, have the advantage, which they've not had so far this series, it's fair to say. Tykop will try and collect, but met by Marzi. He's starting to get a little bit more online, a little bit more confident. Woo! And Onizuma finds the placement top left corner. The magnet is back there. And Rounds double their lead, 2-0.
He's been very good at finding these top corners today as Onizuma. We even saw it in the uppers in those game 3s and game 4s. It was the reason that we're able to extend that to the game 5 in the first place. And this needs to hold for every single game. We need this layer of consistency. It simply hasn't been there. Onizuma, tell it to us, but unfortunately, that one's not going to reach his teammate. Onizuma slams this one off the crossbar as well. And the Renshiro connect to send this one towards the wide. Sully goes for the high challenge. Really intelligent to commit to that angle. knowing that that was going to be the real source of danger. They bite the bait. Yab. Oh, Marzi so awkward. Oh, ends up bumping on Azuma as well with the bell away. This is horrific in this front post, but you can get away with a bit more in that position than any other area in the pitch. That's surely first goal 2TG in this fourth game.
Yeah, certainly. Sully will bring it away for T2G. Marzi on the scene. That is really not a good pass across to Renshiro. Very far behind him. And, well, Onizuma gets demoed in the midfield. Tykop looking for the pass across. He gets demoed as well. The elbow's starting to come out from both sides here, but Renshiro takes a shot. Tykop able to make the save. Push it over to this left side and skirt around the first challenge really nicely. Yeah. Now next up, puts the ball middle. Marzi rises highest. Onizuma in a pretty difficult spot. All three members of Rounds in a very similar position there. Not what you want to be seeing. Marzi and Renshiro once again. Again, I think Marzi's been called off there. I don't mind that one as much, but just taking up that same place. It's not ideal.
Solly. Up high, self-setup. Once on that back wall, it's a quick boom coming from Renshiro, though. Just has to hold on for 1 minute to prevent 2 goals from being scored. T2G, for the most part, have been completely shut out. Now it's on Azuma that had a backboard, but a flip reset wasn't angled right. And allowed itself to have the power behind it. Immediately killed the ball down. And T2G have been able to sweep it over. There's been a bump for the third man. The first and second had committed together. Still been able to rotate themselves back in time. T2G taking too much time to get a shot on there. Marzi tries to make quick work of the counter. Third goal doesn't come. Still keeps this game within range of T2G. But that is starting to run away from them soon. It's going to be out of reach.
Yeah, absolutely. Marzi through. Onizuma trying to take it away from his teammate. Yab will clear it. 10 seconds. 2 goals to find. It's starting to get to that point. But you just can't get there. Yab goes over the top. Marzi jumps as well. Renshiro will steal it, and that will do it. It's going to be Rounds through to play against their nemesis of Rising Esport from Swiss. It wasn't clean. Wasn't the way that we probably would have wanted to have beaten T2G, but the important thing, as Renshiro continues to remind us, is getting to that next phase.
Absolutely. Rising Esports are going to feel very confident, though, heading into this next series, knowing that they were able to take down Rounds in 4 games during the Swiss stage, but honestly, it felt like a sweep when we were watching the gameplay at hand, because they were just a level ahead in that series. Though they have had, for their standards, a very poor day at the office. A game 4 loss, a game 4 victory versus White Rabbit Gaming is an okay start to the day, but then getting completely swept by Death Cloud. Yes, they're a good team, but with the form that Rising Esports have been on recently, you would expect that would have been a closer matchup, and we all certainly predicted that would be the case. But 2 teams perhaps not in their greatest of form clash to potentially qualify themselves for the top 8. We got some time until that reach our screens, but certainly not too much. So rush your way to the bathroom, pick yourself up some quick snacks. It's guaranteed to be the last series of the day. Whether that'll be the case for the Open is left to be decided. It will be decided after the break.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor, all in one lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now, it's about you.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä enää 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikenttä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen. Vaikka näkö arjessa toimisi hyvin, se ei aina kerro koko tarinaa. Pelissä, pienilläkin piilevillä seikoilla, voi olla ratkaiseva merkitys. Onneksi, ne piilevätkin seikat on korjattavissa.
Another week it will be not.
Get it while it's hot.
It was a dark start to the stream, but a bright light starts to seep its way through the window. Round take down 2TG Esports with a game 4 victory here in the lower bracket. It was a win in advance situation, lose, and of course it is straight elimination. We would have seen them back for Open 5 a little bit later, but we're not looking to be done with Open 4 here today. No. We want to get ourselves onto that mainstream, which has been announced earlier today. Congratulations, Rhino, on your return to the mainstream. Very excited to see you commentate all of the SSA action, but I hope that that's going to include rounds yet again, my friend.
Yeah, I hope it is as well, and someone else who is very much hoping it is the rounds captain, of course, Renshiro. And before a ball was kicked today, we caught up with him on how he's getting on in South Africa.
Perjantaina Roundsin Twitchissä, eli Twitch TV kautta Rounds GG. Kaikki meidän RLCS-pelit ollaan meidän main event top 16 peleissä ja lähdetään tavoittelemaan paikkaa tonne lauantaille top 8 peleihin. Twitch TV kautta Rounds GG sekä myös YouTube ja TikTokin puolella, niin nähdään siellä. Recap-videon käy vähän läpi tässä, miten meni viime viikon loppu. Ja maaliskuun 14. päivän lauantaina oli eka päivä. Aika odotettu tulos. Tässä tosiaan päästiin tuohon top 32 vaiheeseen. Ei hävitty yhtään peliä, se on aina hyvä. Swississä sitten sunnuntaina 15. päivä meillä oli Doing It for Graveyard. Hävittiin yksi peli. Ihan fair and square. Oltiin kuitenkin, tuntui, että oltiin koko ajan selkeästi niinku ottelusarja hallussa, joten sitten mentiin tänne round 2. Täällä meillä tuli Strive. Tai me hävittiin 3-1. Oltiin aika itse varmoin tähän, mulla on Strivea pelattu paljon ja totta kai lähdettiin voittaa, kun oli ehdottomasti sarja, mikä voidaan voittaa, mutta siitä nyt tuli 1-3 häviö, ei ollut ihan mikään meiltä paras sarja. Tässä sarjassa, tää meni Game 5, voitettiin yhdellä maalilla toi 5. peli. Se taisi olla ekas peli, se ekassa pelissä meni sähköt kokonaan. Joo, siinä kävi semmonen oikein klassinen Etelä-Afrikan moment tuli siinä. Hävittiin eka peli ihan puhtaasti siinä, että mun joukkue joutui pelaamaan 2v3, kun multa meni sähköt. Vähän unlucky. Sitten hävittiin kuitenkin yksi peli silleen ihan rehdistikin, että ilman mitään biasia niin olisi pitänyt olla 3-1 voitto meille, mutta se nyt meni 3-2 sen sähkökatkon takia. Niin. Sitten round 4. Täällä meillä tuli Cross vastaan. Tääkin on tiimi, mikä kyllä varmasti pystytään voittaa, mutta vahva tiimi. Nää on joka kerta ollut top 6 eka splitissä ja ei mitään heiltä pois. Sitten jouttiin 2-2 puuliin. Tää oli vähän pelottava ja käydään vähän liiankin lähellä putoamista. Ja sitten täältä tuli IBL-niminen tiimi. Oltiin kyllä vaan parempia, niin 3-1 lukemi. Täällä meillä tulee sitten perjantaina Marine Region ekana vastaan. He veti 3-1 rekordin tuolta toisesta Swiss-poolista. Siitä on pakko sanoa, että toi Swissi, missä me pelattiin, eli oliko se nyt pool 1 tossa. Meillä oli siellä huomattavasti vaikeammat tiimit, että ne ei jakautunut nyt ihan tasaisesti, mutta näinhän se monesti menee. Niin uskotaan kyllä, että Marine Region varmaan voitetaan. Sitten Five Fears tulee varmaan tuohon Uber-semifinaaliin. Eipä nyt mihinkään sarjaan mennä sillä asenteella, että lähdetään häviin, joten koitetaan voittaa. Ja olisi se ihan siisti tapa mennä top 6, mutta oletuksena on se, että Five Fears varmaan voittaa meidät Super-semifinaalissa. Sitten mä veikkaan, että tästä tulee olemaan Fusion vastaan White Rabbit. Ja sitten heidän voittaja tulee meille tähän Losers-semifinaaliin, jos pelataan sitten top 8 paikasta. Ja no, oma mielipide on aina vähän biased ja pitääkin olla pelaajana, mutta mä uskon, että me mennään sitten top 8 tosta matsista. Laittakaa ihmeessä seurantaa Roundsin somet, jos nämä videot kiinnostaa. Ja nähdään sitten seuraavassa videossa. Morjes!
The predictions there coming from Renshiro pretty similar to that of us here on the desk, expecting to beat Marine Region and have to play one of either White Rabbit or Fusion in that lower finals. It is confirmed to be White Rabbit. They're going to be playing Marine Region. As for us though, our bracket did get flipped. We did lose in that first matchup, beat T2G, but now it's time to prove ourselves against Rising Esports. And he did comment on the game he played versus them when they were Strive, of course, saying that it just wasn't their best game, and I'm sure we can echo that, Rhino, but credit where it's due for the opponent. This is a very strong side and one filled with players that we recognise. It is the full Reunion A roster. They've had their turn with a few organisations, but Rising Esports is now where it stands. Eagle and Halu take on those first two names, but it is former teammate of Renshiro and roundsman in Open 1, Willu, who faces us yet again.
Yeah, it certainly is an opponent that we are rather used to these days now here on the Rounds team stream. Willu, Halu, and Eagle. It's going to be a tight one. I think previously Strive, now Rising Esport, are right there with us as far as quality goes. I think it's a very even matchup, and I'm excited to see which side just has that extra edge in the game today. Just to bring you guys some updates from around the grounds, in Group A, Pioneers are down into the lower bracket after losing 3-2 to Astronic Esports in the upper final. So they have to play the Punishers in an elimination game to get into top 8. And if we win this game, we will be playing against the winner of that game in tomorrow's matchups. So, hey, if Rounds can take it, then yeah, it looks likely we'll be playing Pioneers first game tomorrow.
I mean, it's a weakened Pioneer side in all fairness. Of course, the main man on the roster actually remaining in Spain, but of course having a few negative experiences, unfortunately, when they were living in SSA, being part of that reason. So, of course, that is completely fair enough. But, of course, it has affected their performance on the pitch. Fair play to Astronic, though. But here, the aim still remains the same here for Rounds. It's about trying to push into that top 8. It may be a different portion of the bracket we expected, but as Renshiro said when he was talking about potentially playing 5 Fears, when he was talking about facing Bro Crocos in that round 4, he never goes in a series with the mindset to lose. And why should this be any different?
Yeah, absolutely. It should not be. And Rounds will be going into this game, even given what happened on Sunday, with the belief that they can take home this victory. They know what they did wrong on Sunday against this same team. So hopefully they've gone away and worked on that. And they will come into this game all guns blazing. We need to make sure, I think, Pegasus, the most important thing for Rounds is to not have a slow start. Get on the front foot early, make them feel every bit of Round.
Well, it's a matchup that would double the RLCS points for Rounds should they be able to pull off this victory. But most importantly, their first qualification in the top 8 for ENC, for Rounds. Let's load them, ladies and gentlemen.
Huge game in the context of the RLCS SSA season and this split for Rounds. An important game at all aspects of it. And as you rightly say, the RLCS points there for the taking. But they have to get through the Reunion A wall of Rising Esport. And there's an early start here for Marzi, who's changed his name to simply Agent M.
Project M's on the pitch. He's taken some weight off the car. And now I expect to see him gliding across the pitch. Rounds looking pretty locked positionally. The early stages of this first game. That's always nice to see, and it feels like a bit of a mute point to put it on the broadcast, but for a majority of these games today, Rounds have been conceding early, as in 10 seconds early. Certainly within the first 30 seconds. Now escaping that stage, and Shiro will open up the lower finals.
I really like this from Marzi. He pushes forwards beyond that ball. He knows that he has to make it difficult for the defense, and that's exactly what he does. Force them to make a decision. Get Willu up on that sidewall so that he can't just sit in net. Make sure that they don't really know where they are at any given moment, and they have to make those extra comms to be able to pull things together. Nice early work from Marzi. Renshiro takes advantage. Good start from Rounds.
Olazuma pops it up high. Marzi comes in from very deep still, though. Beats Halu to that first touch. Eagle is up rather awkwardly still. Manages to take some space forward. Didn't have as much in the tank as he would have liked after all of that effort to get the first ball over in the first place. Rounds looking a little bit more efficient. Renshiro finds his teammate, although block comes in quick here for Rising Esports. Olazuma gets that first pop-up high. Eagle will get that initial pounce. Renshiro is beaten by Willu in this corner. It's the corner where a lot of troubles were caused by Rising Esports for Swiss. It's supposed to be the tough position for the offensive side, but all of their corner reads and quick thinking plays were really put them leaps and bounds ahead. Most of the other teams we had played on that very same day. Ball into Willow. It goes towards that back wall. Halu's waiting outside. Already a bit of a wasted opportunity here from Rising Esports. They've made that task a lot tougher than it should be.
And I think it's fair to say right from the off, we wanted to see a little bit of a step up from Marzi specifically. It's not really been his day today, but just from this opening few moments in this game, I really like what I'm seeing from him. He's playing very well. He's playing front foot Rocket League. He's making the reads that he needs to. That's a really nice play down the right-hand side. More of that from our reunion boy right there as 3 minutes left on the clock. Still trying to put pressure on the back line there for Rounds as Willu just running back towards his own goal. Renshiro not getting the clearance the way he wanted. Eagle on target, but Marzi once again being the savior for Rounds.
Well, the placebo effect still has that word effect in the name. It certainly worked for him. Onazuma's gone for the bump, and Willu has just been left guessing and watches as his former captain just sends one from deep. There's that little bit of hesitation, but credit has to be there for Onazuma, who still manages to pick up some assist points.
Why not? Why? He deserves it. He deserves the assist for that one. And unfortunately, Rounds do concede immediately afterwards. And this is something that Rounds really have to cut out of their game if they want to make regular top 8 appearances. Stop losing kickoffs and conceding immediately after them. It happens so frequently against this team. They really do need to tighten up on that.
And there's no ping-based excuses coming from the Finn either, of course. Reunion A players playing on that about 70-80 ping, but there's no excuses against Rising Esports of all teams in that regard. Renshiro brings this ball up on Azuma, just wants to bring it back down, acts as a dummy again. Marzi loves to play it towards that back wall, and most times it is deliberate. 50-50 on that one, whether it was the case, maybe to look back later. But doesn't like to go for a shot if it's not a 100% opportunity. Instead wants to try and set up for a higher percentage teammate. Unfortunately, it just wasn't quite the game plan for that position. Renshiro, though, challenges early, gets that 50 with Halu. It's Marzi who's got a tough read to make off that corner. Doesn't bounce in his favour whatsoever. Onazuma bangs this one down. Renshiro gets another one from deep. It's Willu yet again.
Oh dear. Willu can't be missing that one. Might have thought it was going home, but either way, actually was going for the ball before it even hit anything. So just a miss. On the back line, Rounds retake their 2-goal advantage. And already it's a significantly better performance than they put up against this same team on Sunday. As Onazuma now trying to take it down the left. Wanting the bump, doesn't get it. Willu stopping Rounds in their tracks. Flipping it over, and Shiro very aggressive. Halu, can he turn the corner? Yes, he can, but it's not on target. Eagle trying to cover, but once again, it's Marzi to bring it away. And now, has he got the better of Halu? Yes, he has. Gets the bump on his player. Gets the assist too. Renshiro goes 4 for 4, and it's Rounds looking to take game 1.
It's picture perfect. Marzi has aged really nicely throughout the day. And that's a bit more of what we were seeing towards the Swiss stages. That impeccable ground game. Able to beat his man. Landed off so nicely towards his teammate. What a start this has been for Rounds.
And it was important. It was exactly what we talked about before the game. Rounds needed to start early. They needed to get their feet under them and look good. Marzi! He's a man possessed in game 1 of the qualification matchup. Renshiro taking it through. Backboard, not defended at the first time of asking, but Eagle still takes it around the corner. Onazuma has a pass. Can he find it? Not in time. Willu will send it away. Rounds confident. Renshiro aggressing. Maybe a little bit too far. But who is there to pick up the pieces? It's Marzi. Onazuma flicking forwards. Passes in. What a save. Doesn't matter because the man has got his goal. Marzi, top right corner. 5-1. Game done.
Look at the rotation. Just look at the rotation. If Quanzek was here right now, he would be frothing at the mouth. I know we've got one of the coaches in chat as well. This is a performance to be proud of. 5-1 to open it up. I said that Rising Esports, just going off their results they've had today, look like they haven't had the finest day in the office. That day is getting a whole lot worse of them here in lowers. They've got their backs against a wall. Rounds have become very familiar with this spot. It is hot in hell, but Rounds are loving the new heat.
They are, and there you go. Ball drops. Rounds take home game number 1 in, it's fair to say, extremely convincing fashion. And I've not said that sentence for a damn long time, Pegasus, but it's finally here. Rounds 5-1 victors. Just look at those scorelines. Marzi stepping up incredibly. Renshiro looking as good as he has done. Onizuma had a quiet game for a change, but he didn't need to be especially loud because his other teammates were stepping up when they needed to. And you just know that Onizuma is waiting for his chance as well. If there is a slip from any of his teammates, he will be there to make sure that he's getting the job done. And Rounds do just that. Whoa, what a game.
What a game, but this is why we play the game with our eyes, because of course Onizuma getting those 148 points, but he's getting those secondary assists across. He's holding great 50s in the final third, and that's what's allowing especially players like Marzi to have that space to take the ball down low. And Marzi is a player that I really like on the ground. He's one of the best players, I would say, in that regard. We saw so many goals happen in the Swiss stage, which were just on account of him keeping it close, going through all those fakes, knowing when to mix it up, play for those 50s, keep the ball on top of his car. He doesn't get dunked all too often when he's feeling confident, and that was prime Marzi. That's what we're looking for. That is a team caliber, dare I say, that's worthy of a top 8 in SSA. However, that's only if you can hold it for a full best of 5. This is not decided by one game. Kickoff resumes. Still 2 more to pick up.
Yeah, and once again, kickoff problems for Rounds. This time it hasn't worked out for Rising Esport just yet, and that will continue. So, Wilu collects. Ball into the middle. Eagle faking. Chance, but Marzi's there. Onizuma now picks up the 100. And he looks to go around the corner. A really bright start from Rising Esport. A statement of intent, certainly, going into this game number 2. But Marzi down the other end. Wilu, good block.
It comes out, Renshiro. Give some time for Onizuma to get back first. Now he can wrap himself around as part of the attack. Bails away. That's smart to dive away from that chance. Knew he was going to be beaten by that first man. Marzi gets a demo for his troubles on the rotation. And that immediately nullifies everything that Rising Esports are going for here, because the second man was playing in front of the ball. Still, though, able to create a play out of it. It came a few seconds later. And a lot of credit has to go here to Halu. That's a bit more what we're used to. Flip reset over on that backboard. It's left completely free, and the recovering rounds are just not going to be enough to get on the end of it. Fair play to Rising Esports. That's how you want to concede if you're Rounds. If it's going to happen, get outplayed. Don't give it away for free.
Yeah, and I mean, that pop from Halu over the top of Renshiro was, just otherworldly, really. Really nice play from them. And as you rightly say, that's just an outplay. You know, that will happen against teams. It will always be the case, but you've got to be able to just get those moments a little bit more often. Crossbar, no! Marzi just doesn't get the read. And now Halu down the other end. Renshiro stops it in his tracks, takes some time off the clock as well. Wilu off the right side. Rising Esport, they always look really good when attacking. Don't get much to go there, so Renshiro now down the right side. Once the 50 doesn't get it, Onizuma does just win the 50 he wanted. Marzi off the backboard. Halu gets up so well.
And I chuckle there because I mentioned it earlier how much he loved going for those booms at the back wall. And again, you can see the danger of that play. It forces such a quick reaction of Rising Esports. Otherwise, they're just going to have to face a shot for free from a better positioned, more central Rounds player. But Rising Esports are one of those teams that can handle it really well. They are very quick playing. But Onizuma, not going to get this one across. You see Marzi bailed away from that one quick, and I like that. Not falling love and into a play too much. Not getting blinded by it. Renshiro's 50 comes out. Onizuma's up. Almost had his moment of heroics earlier. Almost got it yet again. And it's that almost which is definitely going to be playing in the back of his mind right now.
Yeah. Once again, Rounds exerting pressure. Rounds looking like the team that wants to score the next goal. Now, Rounds have been beaten on the counter-attack a couple of times, but Onizuma off the ground, looking for Renshiro to go low, crossbar, surely the finish is there! Thank goodness for that. We call that a pool shot, and it doesn't matter whether it's your opponent or not. Renshiro into the ground. It hits the ground, but then Marzi puts Renshiro onto the ball. Don't care how it happens, Pegasus rounds back level 1-1.
Phew! I thought we were going to see another one go away from that unpredictable as ever corresponding kickoff strats. Does not work for Rising Esports. I was concerned for a split second. That changed about here where Halle West just did not position himself correctly. And from chasing a lead to having one themselves, Rounds could potentially double their score, but Rising are not going to take that one lying down. It's an immediate counter-attack opportunity, but Marty gets the block.
That is how quickly a game of Rocket League can turn around on its head, folks. And get used to seeing it, because this is a game where these two teams are very well evenly matched. There's a put into the middle. Renshiro won't get back in time. Shot is off. Chance for Eagle. Dear, oh dear. And for all the credit we've been giving Marzi, we do have to call him out for this one. This shot was never on target, even though he thought it was. And Eagle then comes across, gets the easy finish, back level 2-2.
The angle is so tough, eh? You just see him dunk his way on the post and immediately he just knows it's over there. And that Rising Esports are going to create something out of it. The kickoff strategy is attempted again by Rising Esports. That one looking a lot stronger, especially with Halle West just lurking on that right wall for Rounds' defense. Willu pops it high. Furry's trying to find there. Eagle is able to get himself close. The quick passes between them don't end up finding anything centrally, but they will go again. And Renshiro, though, picks their pockets. And it is, all of a sudden, a very goal-heavy game when it looked so close at an initial spot.
Yeah, Halu just... tough one there, because Willu does look for the pass back, but he just doesn't get enough power on it to find its way back to Halu. So Halu has to then bail out, but he's got no boost to make the defensive play. Can't get back in time. Rounds take advantage. Good snipe from Renshiro to get in the way of that passing play. And now Willu, left-hand side, pass in the middle to Halu. Off the backboard, but Renshiro's right there to read it. And now he's been given the space to get through. There is a demo coming through from Onizuma. Marzi trying to fake out Willu. He's not going to get beyond, but I love the confidence again from Marzi.
Yeah, again, it was an excellent ground game from him. And that is what makes him so special as a player, including these back wall hits, which, as Onizuma Central, didn't expect to have much space as he eventually did. A few stray misses there coming out from Rising, but there's going to be no question for Marzi. Sends that one low. Eagles local, though. Renshiro lets that one go over him, turns early, no double commits this time, and Marzi's been picking up a lot more bumps on the rotation as well. And that's just helped. Just put another thought to the back of the mind of Rising Esports, another pass inside. Alu won't reach it either. It's a first save coming from Marzi. Another one's going to be called for. Eagles there in the centre, but has ended up actually setting up Rounds quite nicely. Onizuma straight on top of his car, but no boost to go all the way. Still pressure maintained.
Yeah, speaking of boost, Onizuma gets a boost steal there as well. So with 10 seconds to go, it's difficult for Rising Esports now to fill those tanks and get down the other end. It won't matter if Renshiro snipes the top corner. And he certainly will. 3 goals, the hat-trick for the captain. 4-2 to Rounds, and that is Rounds being 1 game away from top 8. But Pegasus, need I remind you that we've been here before?
We have been here before. It was brutal, but it was at a different stage of a bracket, I do believe, where, of course, Rounds have fallen victim to a reverse sweep. And Rising Esports, they've not played their very best today, but someone who has really stepped up. You're going to see on this next screen is Renshiro, hat-trick hero in that last game. Picked up 4 a little bit earlier in today's matchups as well. Overall, when it has been time for Rounds to win, a lot of the time it has gone exactly through the captain.
Yeah, it really has. And he has been that linchpin that we talk about him being so often in this Rounds team. So good, such quality. And, I mean, being there in South Africa, you can see the difference it's making to his gameplay. He's not second-guessing himself as much. He's still playing with 10 seconds to go moments. It's difficult for Rising Esports now to fill those tanks and 3-2 up. Doing a great job. Sorry, 4-2 actually to the good. 2-0 up in this moment. And We just mentioned it. 1 game away from top 8. But Pegasus, that doesn't mean we can rest on these laurels. We must get this done in this next game.
Closest they've ever gotten. 1 more game with this roster specifically, I do believe. I think it was Synthesis in Open 1. We got reverse swept in this spot. That was brutal experience. It was DCE in Open 3 in the top 16 position where rounds were reverse swept. This is in their history, unfortunately. It's a curse to be shaken off here in Split 2. Renshiro in Cape Town with his country also to fight for alongside his boyhood club. And this is where Onizuma can step his marks in SSA history.
Poor on defense again from Rising Esport, and rounds take advantage. Really nice shot in the end from Onizuma, just under the crossbar. And 13 seconds played in game number 3. Rounds already have a lead, but the way this series has been twisting and turning, that is not the final line in this book. There is much left to be written in this chapter. Rounds need to make sure that they close that back door, and that is done by Onizuma brilliantly there at the first time of asking.
Renshiro does have enough boost just to squeeze out an extra touch. Halu didn't expect it. Marzi gets that first pounds, but oh no, that's an early jump from Onizuma. Willu DeVoe doesn't get the finest of touches himself. Rounds escape from that play. Now it's their time to try and tighten the vice here on Rising Esports. Make him pop. Marzi though beaten here by Eagle, but Onizuma lurking around the area. He already has 1 to his name in what could be the qualifying game. No bumps land, but that's a double commit coming from Rising. The last man's been forced to step up. Eagle's got 0. We've seen mistakes here on the back wall come from Rising Esports, but not this time. Still worthy of a test though from Rounds, because imagine the pressure their opponents must feel right now. First day with the new organisation. It's a save from Renshiro.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he's going to look to try and break down the right-hand side. Gets bumped in the end. Wilu going to leave that to Halu. And it's Marzi who just pops it up to Onizuma, who gets beyond the press. Wilu over to this near side. Finds the pass to Halu, but it's not being pushed forwards until Eagle gets control. But Marzi with a big interception right on the midfield line and looking to continue it. Wilu just waiting for him to pass by. Good patient play from the Rising player. And now with 2 minutes still to play, 2 minutes played, sorry, in this game. Rounds still 1-0 up, but they would love another one just to give themselves a cushion. Renshiro trying to find it, loses possession to Eagle. Onizuma collects, but Eagle intercepts again.
Still a very flexible scoreline. It is a wonderful house that Round's sitting right now, but it's made of card. Renshiro makes sure to block that initial breeze from Rising Esports. Marzi takes it up the corner, wants it off the ceiling, would have gone heavy down towards a teammate, but they're wiped off the face of the earth, forced to regroup. And he's immediately actually got himself back involved with that 50. Renshiro's up quick. And there is a player at that far post, Eagle. But Marzi wants to outpatient his opponent. And that has paid dividends here, because now Renshiro can get a 100 boost, take forward space. Onizuma's just lurking in the area to force out heavy touches. Doesn't want them to have control of the ground whatsoever. Usually, he's the master of the skies. Dogfights launched. First shot on. Renshiro is blocked off the play by Hello West. Marzi, though, that backboard. This time it's all his. Backboard will have no one there. Will try to recycle it back, but Eagle on the half turn gets a heavy touch forward. It's Onizuma again with a long shot. That's on target. No, it's not. Oh my goodness.
Tell you what, Marzi is a little bit like Ferrari between 2025 and 2026, just finding pace from nowhere. Wilu still gets the shot and will get the equalizer as Marzi gets a good challenge there. Renshiro goes to get boost. There's nothing there to get. Gets demoed by Eagle. Onizuma doesn't have anything in the tank either. And so it will be 1-1 with a minute and a half. But again, just the renaissance we're seeing from Marzi. I'm loving seeing what he's able to put forwards. And now Onizuma, yeah, just not going to be able to get back up to that ball. Halu jumped a long time ago. Good challenge from Renshiro. Marzi has a lot of boost to work with, and he finds a way out.
We have a few skeletons in our closet. Some chickens that we would love to not see come home to roost. Of course, the coveted reverse sweep we have faced on numerous occasions. And I don't like to see Rising Esports have any pace in the game. Marzivo turns it completely on his head. Onizuma gets the bump! The Reunion A connects, and it's these two up-and-coming SSA talents that could earn their first top 8 with a combinatory play like that.
I want to see the chat now filled with hashtag load the rounds. Come on. 60 seconds to go. Rounds working incredibly well. Rising Esports have proven they're not going away easily, but the defense from rounds so far has been enough. Ball into the middle. There's a real chance there, but Renshiro to the rescue. He's been the superstar of this team for so long now. Even gets a bump on the player. Halu, backboard, not sent away. Eagle looking for the chance. Marzi getting up well. There's still opportunities here for Rising. Ball not cleared. Now it has been. Onizuma looking for the run of Marzi. Willu gets there first. The demo is in. Halu drops it down for a teammate. And Eagle looks for the top corner. Onizuma does well to push it to the side. 20 seconds remaining. Backboard. How does Eagle miss that? Round survive.
Marzi gets that 50 across, has to chase it again. Halu's waiting at that midfield line. It was a chance for Rising Esports. 10 seconds on the screen for the potentially the first ever qualification for rounds, but a counter-attack is on. It's a save from Marzi yet again. What a series he has had, but it's this where it ends. Halu to Eagle. Pops it up. It's Marzi once more. The aforementioned man. What a step up it has been. Halu with the psycho or past the captain. Brings it down. Allez Reunion, allez Onizuma, allez Marzi, and load the rounds!
Woo! And you know what? From last Sunday, where we felt like we were yet to see the round's full potential with the main man in Cape Town, I feel like today we might have just seen what this team is capable of. We've seen why Rounds made the right decision to get Renshiro into South Africa. And oh my goodness, we've got some we got some face cams as well while we're enjoying the action. As yeah, absolutely well deserved. But Pegasus, Rounds are into the top 8, and I love saying that sentence. Come on.
Oh, it's real. It's finally real.
Oh, the glasses off.
What
Wow.
a performance to
Serious.
finish the day from the boys. That was incredible. What a statement performance to get it done against a team that absolutely battered you as early as last Sunday. Battered you. And you know what? In that series, we absolutely battered them. That was revenge at its finest. That was some of the cleanest Rocket League those three have played together. With that top 8 in reach, with all of the pressure that was on the shoulders, the extra pressure as well, especially for Renshiro, of course, who's got a whole nation on his back right now. Still being able to play with such confidence in what has felt like such an unconfident day.
Yeah.
It can just come in the most unlikely of circumstances, Rhino. It wasn't the circumstance any one of us expected here on the caster's desk when you look at our predictions. Neither that of even the captain himself.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, look, we just got to give credit to every single player on Rounds to pull it through in that final game. I think it's fair to say we didn't feel like Rounds were playing their best Rocket League going into this final game. We were a little bit nervous about how things were going to happen. But Pegasus, they switched on for that final game. And they often say, let your apology be as loud as your disrespect. And I feel like we were talking a little bit about Marzi, obviously, in those first 2 games. Didn't have that best of starts, best of games. But my God, when it mattered most, Marzi stepped up, and he deserves to walk away from that game feeling like he probably did just as much as anybody on that field in a Rounds jersey, because he absolutely smashed it. We get the victory. We're in top 8. And Pegasus, to do it in that way as well, to do it in a sweep where it never really felt out of control for Rounds, that's the good feeling right there.
And I do just want to round this back off to Marzi. Renshiro obviously had an excellent day today. I
Sure.
think Onozuma did as well. He had his peaks and okays. We certainly saw a peak in that final series, especially. It all came together for all the teams. But for Marzi, that was his immortal series. That's the best I've ever seen him play, and it came off the back of I hope he doesn't mind me saying some of the worst Rocket League I've seen him play. Honestly, that first series from you, Marzi, I'm gonna be frank, that was bad. However, here in lowers, when you needed to survive, you had one job for the end of the day and you pulled it off. You made top 8. So honestly, completely fair play to you. Fair play to the coaches as well for turning around today's performance. There has to be so much love there brought to their attention. But of course, there are 2 coaches for rounds, but for us 3 on the desk here, Rhino, only one of us considers themselves a coach, and that's certainly not either one of us. That is, of course, our good friend Quanzek, and we have a little piece put together by Quan himself. It's called Quanalysis, where he shows what it takes for rounds to be the top 4 or a top 6 team, and we could play a little bit of a game of spot the difference as well with that last performance, because formerly Strive certainly were of that caliber. Anyway, Quan, we've missed you very much. Take it away.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I can't be with you on stream today as I'm in the middle of moving states, but I wanted to leave you guys with a little bit of something, and it's something I'm really excited about. We're calling this segment Quanalysis. I finally get to put on my coaching hat and show you guys a little bit of what I really enjoy about Rocket League. We've all seen the flashes of brilliance from this round's team, and in the booth, we're always talking about the what-ifs. If they can string together a full series of them playing at their A game, what does that look like? Are they a top 4 team in the region? Are they not? They got the chance to prove that against Bro Crows in upper round 4 of our Swiss stage last Sunday, and we chose this clip specifically to highlight just how good of a team rounds can be against a top caliber team in the region. It was a game 2 on Forbidden Temple after losing game 1 in very tight-knit fashion 3-2. They need a bounce-back game, and plays like this are exactly why they were able to rally back and win massively 5-1 and even up the series. Let's go ahead and watch through the clip and do a deeper dive afterwards. It's 2-0 in the game. Rounds and Bro Crows are resetting after a goal was just scored by Rounds. And your standard kickoff happens, and Onozuma challenges like a freak from the sidewall. Absolutely crushes Ravi in a 50, as does Renshiro. And now this ball filters into the corner. Marzi takes over, ignores the ball, goes for a bump. Jeff tries to do what he can, but straight to Onozuma, and the goal goes in for Rounds. Let's see exactly what went together in order to have this play happen as seamlessly as it did. So how this clip starts is something super standard in RLCS. It's your standard ranked kickoff. I mean, you guys have all seen this. Marzi, left always goes. You guys know the rule. Against Jeff on this kickoff, both sides are going to end up mirroring each other, where Renshiro slides around, grabs his full boost, and rotates back to net, as will Ralvi. What matters the most here in this style of kickoff is Onozuma against Stake. They are the players cheating. These 2 individuals will be in charge of securing possession or some sort of advantage for their team. If they can't get the ball, their concession is going to be winning a race to the full boost. If you can get both, that's ideal. But you want one or the other. Race for either one of these full boosts. We have portals now. Look at how immaculate we are. This is what Onozuma and Stake care about. It's either winning possession of the ball so their team can then dictate the pace of play, or winning the race to either one of the boosts so that from there they have an advantage in order to regain possession of the ball and set up some sort of offensive. So we'll see the kickoff here. Marzi onto Jeff, that 50, straight back this way. Onozuma and Stake, they both know this ball is moving too fast for either one of them to get to. So their attention now turns towards this full boost. And Onozuma, he takes his path better. He turns later. He falls along this line, and it then turns. Steak is a little bit sharper. He's here, and then he's here. The smoothest from Onizuma is going to keep his pace, and he's using more boost, right? If you look at the current totals from either one of these players, Steak at 31, and Onizuma is at 12. Onizuma has used more boost, but the reason he's using more boost is because of this penny that's right in front of him. This one is neutral territory. Him or Steak can grab it. And this 12 boost is going to be the difference in who can get to that ball first. Onizuma already a better angle on this turn, and being able to grab that penny will end up winning him the race to that ball. So now we're in a situation where Ravi is tasked defensively. What can he do? Onizuma, having this full boost, he knows, I'll go ahead and play until we see him, that Renshiro is right behind him, because Renshiro grabbed that full boost in the corner and rotated up. We have, everybody loves our rotations in threes. We have our 1 in Onizuma, we have our 2 in Renshiro, and we have our 3 in Marzi. Since Marzi went for the kickoff, he's always going to be last here, and he knows he has time, because he's going to be last. Hit Onizuma or Renshiro is in charge of making sure this ball doesn't go back towards their half before Marzi can grab full boost. So he's opting, he knows how important this full boost is off this kickoff. He's opting to grab the opposition's corner. And what it's going to happen now, Marzi here in this corner can rotate back out and play around what happens between Onizuma and Renshiro. But this sequence, this boost disparity is what I want you guys to pay attention to. Right here. This freeze frame. 182, 87, 111, and 72. And watch how this one singular boost pad is going to be the difference maker in this entire sequence. The level of play that RLCS exists on, these small, minuscule differences stack up even seconds down the rest of our game. So we already talked about how Onizuma's confident to go for this ball. It's a madman challenge. There's no two ways about it. He is crazy for going for this, but he believes he individually is better. Which we've seen Onizuma peak on stream before. We know how talented this man is. And he has the confidence that Renshiro, who's off screen down this way, is backing him up. He doesn't have to worry about, oh, if he misses this, it's just in his net. Renshiro's there to cover him. So he can go ahead and get a little bit wild and show that he is the better player on the pitch and make something happen. And you'll notice, watch his boost. He's used some to accelerate up the wall, but once he's around the ceiling, he doesn't use any. He gets all the way up here on the ceiling, allows himself to drop off before he's used any of this boost. This is him evaluating right now in his head, is this challenge playable? If it's not, he's just going to drop down and find his spot in the rotation. If it is, he can then use the boost and step up to Ravi. And Onizuma decides, you know what? I can dunk this man. I can be better here. I'm that guy. Onizuma falls off the ceiling, uses his boost, reads Ravi like a book. And if we could rotate around the ball, Onizuma's in fantastic positioning here for this 50. Look how centered he is on this ball. And on top of that, his nose is angled down. It's not angled up. It's not angled to either side. It's angled down, which means that this ball is going to spike to the turf and come back up, mainly because of where his nose is facing. It's meticulous, the small mechanics that these players do game in and game out that never go noticed when we are actually live on stream, and I'm fortunate to get the chance to highlight it right now. Because of his positioning, this 50, straight down, straight back up. Now Renshiro, full trust in his teammate, crept up a little bit and is now using that full tank of boost to go ahead and challenge onto Jeff here. And Renshiro is going to do his part and also winning his 50. He gets there, I guess, a little bit later. But he sees that trajectory of the ball and puts himself, and no matter which way Jeff hits this ball, it's going off of Renshiro's card. So Renshiro makes sure to fly higher first and then go towards the ball so that he can intercept whichever way Jeff is coming. Because he's launching from down here. his angle is always going to be up. It's velocity from your physics class. The angle, a power, and a direction. And the direction has to go up, so when Shiro flies above the ball here. And in doing so, he wins this 50 cleanly. And maybe it's a little bit delayed, that's why it's so clean, and he gets a very fortunate bounce off the ceiling that forces both Steak and Ravi to rush to the net. They are already barely any boost over here on the side. They're rushing towards the net. They're trying to be involved in this play in some way, shape, or form and not allow this ball that's currently barreling straight towards their net to go in. And it's a fantastic save by Steak. We have to give him credit where credit's due. Sacrifices his car, puts himself into his own net in order to keep it out. And Ravi says, you know what? I'm the next man up in rotation. I have to try to do something. But Marzi, who stole this boost initially, is now involved in play for the first time since his kickoff. And he is still sitting on that full tank of boost. He is the one that's been biding his time and watching his two teammates battle it out. And now we'll go ahead and flip back here. Marzi recognizes here that Ravi's boost is non-existent. And he knows this because Ravi's the one that challenged Onizuma here, and he hasn't had any time to grab even really any pennies. And so, as a result, he has a lot of confidence just jumping for this ball. He makes contact, finds a really good pinch, gets a great trajectory on the ball that's going to drift it right over the net, and he knows that he's already done his job. All he has to do is get this ball in front of the net in order to create something for his team. Onizuma, look at how efficient he is. He's rotating out from this play. He ignores all these pennies. He doesn't take any weird sidewinding route. He doesn't bide his time. He wants to be as quick as possible. And he knows the timer from this initial kickoff. You see this little icon, this white blur that's starting to appear? That's the boost respawning. Onizuma is so efficient in this mental clock that he has off this kickoff. He's going to be over this boost pad as it comes back, which allows him to instantly turn around and be back in this play. And now he can step up, be the second man to Marzi's one, and Renshiro can play safely behind both of them. And so now, once again, our rotation is flipped. But it's Onizuma's efficiency here, grabbing that boost, turning back in, that enables this play. And again, once more, I want to highlight the boost. I may sound like a broken record. The reason I am harping our boost totals is this is after a kickoff play. The number one thing that matters in kickoffs in the game Rocket League is who can come out with the boost and or with the ball. All that matters because you're starting off from a fresh slate. There's no continuation of play anywhere. So boost and ball over everything. And that one boost grab that Onizuma had over the top of Steak has created this disparity. It has been rounds pressing their advantage after Onizuma won that first challenge. And it's Bro Crocro that has to respond. But because Bro Crocro's always playing catch up, they're always burning boost. And because they started down an extra 100 boost because Steak wasn't able, he was the only one on kickoff that didn't grab one of 6 players to not grab a full tank of boost. And this entire sequence has spawned from that. But back to the topic at hand, Marzi, perfect lofted ball right over the net. Onizuma, very swift, efficient grabbing of that sidewall boost. He can now cheat up here. In the heads-up play from Marzi, recognizing the only real defense that can come out here is Steak. He is the backboard defense. I can just remove him from this equation. Steak gets bumped. Jeff has to respond because otherwise this ball is going into his net. And yeah, there's some hindsight plays where like, oh, if he doesn't touch it, maybe it can filter out into the corner. Like nobody can be there. Maybe it's going to be Marzi turning around and responding. But this is so hindsight. When you're a player in this situation, all Jeff is thinking about is I need to get this away from my net. And so he's trying to get down on the ground, recover, and get a booming touch out this way, over the top of Onozuma's head. But because he lands, and that ball ends up on his hood in such quick succession, it's a really hard recovery, and ends up flipping into it with not a whole lot of power. Onozuma reads it perfectly, and is there to tap it in. And I want to highlight one last thing before we wrap up this overview. Onozuma, coming from that corner, look at how smart he is after grabbing this boost. He sits in, and he says, what matters more than anything is I stay on this ball. And so you see him hit the brakes. Watch for his brake lights. Right there. They jump on, and that small little movement that he creates by tapping on his brakes enables him to be in position to slam on his ball. If he's racing this way, or then doubling back any which direction away from the ball because he's too far ahead now, or he's just gone straight forward, this ball is probably played back behind him. But the brakes, he does really well to be in the perfect spot, just slot that ball in. And this goes to show you, this entire sequence, one full boost grab by Onozuma beating Stake, and Onozuma finding a fantastic challenge onto Ravi, and it's only fitting that he goes ahead and finds that goal at the tail end of it. But that one play, snowballing into this entire sequence, rounds rotating perfectly, pacing back around each other, grabbing those full boosts the second they spawn, it's immaculate. And this is why we sometimes get frustrated in the booth, because this team is special. It's just these moments, it's a roller coaster sometimes. And if we can string together this level of efficient play, this team can go a very long ways. We have our GSL out in front of us. This type of clip is exactly what we want to see all day today. Enjoy the action, guys.
He's so good at what he does, isn't he? That was an incredible segment there from Quantec. Honestly, fair play to him for going in such detail. There were multiple of hours of work actually put into those 15 minutes for your viewing pleasure, but we like to do it a little bit different over here at RDR Prod. We like to put in that extra effort, and Rhino, he spoke a lot about the rotations, the confidence, the safety as well, all coming together perfectly in that match versus Brococros, but we really got to see some of those positive signs he was talking about against Rising Esports.
Yeah, I think that is one of those where Quan at the end, he kind of mentioned that we do get a little bit frustrated on the desk, and it was a day of getting a little bit frustrated as well, until that final game where everything started to click exactly in the way that Quan said. The early challenges that rounds are able to perform just look so good when they're feeling confident and they are going for them and they are working, and teams don't know what to do against it. They really struggle.
And it's definitely been a day of celebration now past the point of that Rising Esports game, but before any players have been allowed to get off and party, unfortunately for poor Renshiro, he's been summoned to the mainstream. So thank you very much for taking your time to be with us here instead of going off and celebrating your first top 8 over here at SSA. But I wanted to, we'll start it off with a very easy question here. How does it feel to finally be at this point? Because it's open 4 now of a 6 open season. Time was running out, but split 2 starting off as well as you could ask for.
Yeah, we're very happy. I mean, the goal was to definitely get to top 8 now, and we did it now. I mean, it was a little bit of a rough start with trying to reverse sweep the first team. That didn't happen, but then lowers we just played our own game and it worked.
Oh, it worked. It works. A treat. Renshiro, I want to talk to you a little bit about the pressure being applied as the fact that you have obviously been brought down to Cape Town to take part in SSA for this second split. Do you feel an added pressure having that trust from the organization to perform at this level?
Yeah, I think on the uppers I definitely did, and then probably the whole team as well a little bit, but yeah, I definitely did on the uppers, but then I mean, on the reverse sweep, and then especially after I lost, I just kind of took the mindset like, okay, I'm now here. Yeah, I lost, but I'm not out of the tournament, so now I just focus on having fun and just chill and see what happens. And I think that helped a lot the whole team, because that kinda helped us have like a calm environment and stuff. So yeah, that was definitely the way to go. Instead of too much stressing, like, okay, I need to win, I was just like, okay, I'll just play and do what I normally do.
Yeah, we saw Spooky get in the Twitch chat as well, and he he mentioned that the fun meta is undefeated, and I think it's fair to say that it certainly is. I want to ask you a little bit about communication between yourself and the two Reunion boys, because we on the desk have been speculating about this for a long time. You know, obviously the language spoken is going to be English. Do you think that is an issue for this team and this unit? Because we see still creeping in a couple of double commits, a couple of moments where it looks like that communication isn't quite as top-notch as maybe you guys would want it to be. Is it that language barrier, or is it something else?
I don't think I would blame it on the language barrier. I think we all speak pretty good English, like we are talking and doing stuff outside of the games too that have nothing to do with the games, so they can definitely speak good English with me, so I don't think that's really a problem. I think it's more of an like we just sometimes just go before like communicating, like probably the game pressure and stuff, but I don't think it's related to the language barrier. Like most of the things we understand, especially the in-game comms, because that's like the main things everyone learns. So yeah, I don't think it's that.
I've got two questions for you before I'll go back in the think tank and allow Rhino to have his opportunity again. But I do want to round back around to actually Rhino's first question, speaking about pressure, because there's quite a fair bit on your shoulders, especially on this team. Of course, there's been a bit of investments put towards you to be in Cape Town in the first place, so you can play on low ping. You also got that laptop from Lenovo, so shout out to them. But on top of that investment that's already been put into you, there's also the Esports Nations Cup, which I believe is reliant on you picking up RLCS points for your country. How much of an effect do those two factors have to you when it does come to that weight on your shoulders? Can you feel it?
Yeah, sometimes when I think about it, but I try to not do it in the games, which I probably did a little bit on the uppers, but then I just kind of went back to like, okay, I should not think about the other stuff and just focus on the game. But I mean, for sure, the Nations Cup, of course, I'm trying to make it the Finnish team and help the country qualify. We have good players in APAC getting points too, so it's not like a one-man job, but of course everyone needs to get as many points as possible to maximize the seeding and then, you know, getting the invite in the first place. And yeah, I mean, if I have to say one thing, it's probably like the most pressure is just doing good in the opens. Like I don't think anything outside of that.
It's a nice focus, headstrong approach to RLCS. Let RLCS be RLCS kind of idea there. But it's a three-man roster. Of course, alongside you, you do have Marzi, you do have Onizuma. This wasn't the team you necessarily started with this season. They just entered the frame in Open 2. And of course, Marzi had a bit of a name behind him before this season began, perhaps still not quite reaching the heights he would have liked to, admittedly, in previous seasons. But Onizuma has been a complete wild card to the SSA scene this season, of course, starting off, I want to say it was Astronic before coming here to Onizuma. And I just want to somewhat leave the floor open for you here to say just what it has been like having Onizuma and Marzi as teammates, and just what they represent as the two local and Reunion A talents, especially on the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, they're both like upcomers from Reunion. I mean, every day that I spent time with them in scrims and then on like other things, like I see the potential is there. Like they have mechanics, they have good consistency, and they have the motivation to like get to the top in SSA. And yeah, I mean, I think it is only just about getting the threes experience. Like 3v3 is really like all about playing correct as a team, being on the right position and stuff like that. So I think that's the only thing they need, and then they can be as good as anyone else in SSA.
I think we've certainly been excited by Marzi and Onozuma at points during your guys' run in Split 1, certainly, and even more so today. Watching you guys play against Rising Esport was so entertaining. I want to change gears a little bit, and I want to kind of actually speak about your experience in Cape Town, because we've been seeing the videos, right? We've been seeing you putting stuff on around socials. How are you finding Cape Town? How are you adjusting to that environment, and have you settled in yet?
Yeah, I mean, the weather is now nice. Like, when I arrived, it was almost 40 Celsius or something like that. So that was not nice, but now it's been like between 20 to 30. So that's kind of like a classic Finnish summer weather, almost like that. So that's been nice. Then I like the fact that everything feels so cheap here, because Finnish prices are just way higher on everything. Like, it just feels like you have a little bit more money than what you normally would have when everything costs less. And yeah, I've been walking around a little bit on the close areas, but I haven't done anything special yet because I've been alone here. And then I've heard that there are some sketchy areas, so I'm just trying to avoid, you know, going to the wrong place alone, because that's usually when the bad stuff happens when you're alone. So yeah, I'll be kind of just chilling, focused on the RLCS mainly.
Yeah, that's very fair. I completely understand that. Sounds at least like you are starting to take to Cape Town life very well. My final question before Pegasus is going to kind of sign off this interview is, Renshiro, I need you to answer seriously. All right, this is a very serious question right now,
okay.
And I'm not smiling for any particular reason. Why on earth? Why is it rounds can't get anywhere other than round 5 in Swiss? What is it about this team that forces you guys to go right the way to round 5? Please tell me. I want to know.
Yeah, it's the pressure on the important games.
Okay.
Like, we had the 2 losses against Strive, which is now the Rising, so we kind of got the revenge now on the GSL when it mattered. And then Pro-Cross, another like consistent top 6 team. So yeah, we've been like on scrims we play very strongly against anyone, but we've been struggling to pull it off in the actual tournaments. And I think now what we did in the lowers, just everyone was just kind of chilling and having fun, and we said if we lose, we want to go out when having fun. And I think this is what we need to have this mindset every time we play, because I think that's been missing before. So we'll see. But that was the problem in Swiss, for sure. Too much stress.
I really appreciate you taking the time to answer these questions. And I started off this interview saying and taking away from your celebrations, but the more we have actually gone through this interview, the more it's made me think actually it's going to be less celebrating and more preparation for the weekend's action and your time of things, because of course that job is not finished. This interview's almost finished, but I got one more question for you. Here, Renshiro, is there any shout outs you would like to say or thank yous before we return to just a me and Rhino desk?
There's probably too many people to thank, to be honest. So I'm just gonna say thank you to everyone who's been supporting. Thanks for all the partners and sponsors, and thank you for the rounds and everyone who's been supporting me. And yeah, I'll try to keep pushing forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Renshiro. Well, Rhino, that was an excellent interview. You can just feel the professionalism there. You can see why he's the captain of the roster. I mean, it's just so easy to tell with how he answers those questions. That's a player that's motivated, and a player who's very, very open as well when it comes to the interview. I mean, happy to talk about the pressures of what it takes to be a top player in this scene, and honestly, that makes him a lot stronger than both. It's helped him fight through today to what has been an excellent bracket to get ourselves to the mainstream, where you will be waiting, of course.
Oh yes, and they would have made an absolutely horrendous mistake if they put me on the Rounds versus Pioneers game tomorrow, but we'll see if I do get credited with it. The only thing I do want to bring up, by the way, just on that Renshiro interview again, is I remember when I first started speaking to Renshiro about the Rounds stream back in Split 2 of 2025, and I sent him a message, and I basically said, like, what is it about going to APAC that is the reason that you guys want to play in a different region, right? And the message that I got back from Renshiro was a 5 bullet point, like all of those bullet points were full paragraphs of explanations of reasons as to why rounds were playing in APAC last season. And from that moment, I knew that I was going to get on very well with Renshiro. He's a very open player. He likes to answer questions. He likes to tell people exactly what's happening at any given time. And we love him very, very much for that. And I hope that we go and get him on a few more interviews over the course of the season, because it's great to have that conversation with him. Looking at this bracket, I mean, it doesn't matter anymore now, does it? You can see it in front of you. Rounds are through to top 8. That's all that we really care about. Big dub.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's put our, Renshiro hats on here and just look ahead, as he's always doing. Round 1 is going to be versus Pioneers. That's never going to be an easy matchup, but Pioneers have been a bit bruised recently. Lewis P is no longer in the region either, so he's going to be playing on a bit of ping, and Rounds have got a newfound confidence, so anything can happen. There's a reason these matches are played on pitch. Should we win that series, we'll go on to play the loser of Synthesis or 5 Fears that are at the top of the bracket at the moment. So definitely no easy games there. But you look at the other side of the bracket, and it's really hard to pick a favourite regardless, Rhino, because it's Marine Region versus Bro Crows, which is insane to say for a lower bracket matchup. Yeah. That's going to lead to the winner playing one of either Death Cloud Esports or Astronic. So also a very fearful side of the bracket. Of course, that may not have Pioneers initially, but the bracket does flip after a team picks up a win, so doesn't really factor as a point regardless. Just beat the teams ahead of you. Maybe you can push for a top 6, maybe you can push for a top 4, but ladies and gentlemen, let's just celebrate what we have already done. For the first time in RLCS 2026, Rounds have made a top 8, Rhino.
Woo! Yeah, they have. Oh, it feels so good to say. I got the opportunity to say it last season in APAC, and I'm thrilled that I get to say it again here in SSA. But work is not done, and Renshiro is going to be the first person to tell you that. This is only Open 4. There are 2 more Opens left, and they're still not out of this Open. There is still Rocket League to be played. There is still Rocket League points, RLCS points to earn. And I'm sure Rounds will be looking to score as many of them as possible. And yeah, just thanks everybody for sticking with us. We loved Split 1, don't get us wrong, but just being on the cusp of that top 8 and not getting over the line was really frustrating, especially the fact that it proved Romeo right. But now, Pegasus, we're in a position where we can tell Bromeo to hold that. He was actually very nice. I messaged him and he said it was, well played and all that. But I don't care. Agendas are agendas. And Bromeo is the #1 Rounds hater, and he's going to have to commentate us on mainstream tomorrow. I'm excited about it. Hell yeah.
I wish this stream could last forever now, but unfortunately that cannot be the case. Ladies and gentlemen, it was an absolute pleasure. This stream was, of course, brought to you by RDR Prod. Thank you very much, Rounds, for this opportunity. But tomorrow, make sure to go to the African Gaming Twitch channel if you want to see more casting from Rhino, more observer work from producer Hazza over here at RDR Prod on the mainstream. But most importantly, if you want to see Rounds continue their journey, it is a place they have not seen before in this season, and who knows, maybe they will thrive in the pressure. Renshiro, Marzi and Onozuma officially a top 8 team, and they will play in that very position tomorrow. As for us, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
What if I told you? From now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk. Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor. All in one, lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, yeah, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now, it's about you.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä ei näy 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikenttä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen. Vaikka näkö arjessa toimisi hyvin, se ei aina kerro koko tarinaa. Pelissä pienilläkin piilevillä seikoilla voi olla ratkaiseva merkitys. Onneksi ne piilevätkin seikat on korjattavissa.